I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski and Pete Thamel. Iona basketball coach Rick Pitino has agreed on a 6-year deal to become the new coach at St. John's. NFL, one less team in the Odell Beckham Jr. sweepstakes. Cowboys likely out after acquiring receiver Brandon Cooks. OBJ, who suffered 2 ACL tears in his career, needs to think short-term right now, advises Canty and Carlin co-host Chris Canty.
It's not about you landing a long-term contract to secure your financial future. Based on what we've seen from you in the injury history over the last couple of years, that's going to be a tough ask for any team. Right now, it's about positioning yourself to get to free agency and have more leverage in 2024, and that's finding the best fit where you can be a productive player on a winning team.
Chris Canty on Greene. NBA. Today marking the first day Ja Morant's eligible to work with Grizzlies coaches and trainers after serving his 8-game suspension because of a gun incident on March 4th in a Denver club. Morant's expected to be on the bench but will not play tonight against Dallas, listed as out on the injury report due to conditioning.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy, and we are back on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, we're heard everywhere around the world on the iHeartRadio app, and you can see us live on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join us in the chat. It is it's a Monday, and did you enjoy the basketball this weekend?
Not particularly.
Not particularly. Are you crazy?
I watched a lot.
Uh-huh.
I was impressed by a little.
Uh-huh.
And I will say this, I'm the biggest Blue Jay fan on the planet Earth.
Jeremy put a whole bunch of doubloons on Creighton.
Didn't actually realize how many it was until Thursday, and I went, oh, okay, that could make the whole year if I'm right at plus 3,000. So let's go Blue Jays!
Creighton's still alive in the NCAA tournament, and they get to play Princeton in the next round. Hot.
Feel pretty good my team's going to be around until at least the Elite Eight.
Look, to me, I thought it was a good weekend of basketball.
The college basketball's just got a slew of problems. I mean, look, it's enjoyable to watch. I'll be honest with you, I like the mid and low majors at this point more than I do the highs.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched a lot of teams that there's no competent offense. John Calipari's the one that drives me the most crazy. You can keep telling me how great a coach he is. This is like the Sasquatch of college basketball. No, he's really not. I saw a stat today that if you enrolled at Kentucky in 2019, you will graduate in the spring having seen 1 Kentucky win in the tournament, which was just against Providence, and 3 games total. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, no, it's not very good. It hasn't been a good 4-year run here, but I mean, come on. Prior to that, he had his team in the Final Four. So, are you saying he's done? He's overrated? He's cooked?
No, I just don't think this. I don't think this way of doing things works. I'm looking at a Creighton team that is without a shadow of a doubt the most impressive team that I've seen so far. If it's not them, it's either UConn or Michigan State. And you know what they all have in common? They're the oldest teams left in the tournament. That's not really a happenstance. And if you run even a vaguely competent offense or a defense that people don't see very often, like a zone. Apparently nobody knows how to beat zone. It's making me want to get back into coaching. I'm telling you,
He's got the itch.
I got a fever. And the only cure might be a clipboard.
Right. I mean, I feel like that's basketball's problem on the whole, though.
No doubt.
It's not just college basketball. It's the NBA as well. It's just too much of an individual game for. I mean, team basketball is the best way to watch it. In my opinion. In my opinion, team basketball is the best to watch. I don't want to watch these AAU track meet games that's got one or two players doing everything.
Well, I mean, I coached AAU, so I'm a little I sympathize to this a little bit, and that is a perfect way to kick this show off.
The opening drive brought to you by Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Go to andersonnissan.com, or you can drop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. Whether you're in the market for a certified pre-owned vehicle or a brand spanking new vehicle like Jeremy's.
I had to go run some errands today, and it was all made much easier by my 2023 Pro 4X fully loaded Nissan Titan. It's the biggest vehicle on the road. It's the most comfortable vehicle on the road. And I learned today, if I get tired of sitting behind somebody not going the speed limit, it'll get you there.
Yep.
In a hurry.
Yep, it will.
629 Brevard Road. Tell them the two formerly fat guys of the Sportsocracy sent you.
And when you do, they'll give you a $250 bonus on top of your trade-in just for mentioning us here in the Sportsocracy.
My wife is now shaded off of what she wants, as we will be buying a vehicle from Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville because, well, hers took enough boo-boos, and now she needs one that's boo-booless. I have now, over the course of one weekend, she has wanted 4 different cars at Anderson Nissan, which is why I'm like, all right, let's take a minute. Maybe you figure out what you're after, and then those guys will make it work.
That's right.
Because that's what they do. 629 Brevard Road. Tell them the two formerly fat guys of the Sportsocracy sent you.
Indeed, it was. I thought it was a good weekend of college basketball. It had, it had some dominant performances. You had some of the upsets that we like to see in the first couple of weekends of the tournament.
And it's so overrated.
It's not overrated.
You want to see upsets in the first round, and then you want those teams to go bye-bye. Because I asked you this question before this show. Mm-hmm. You tell me the game that you're really I cannot wait to see. Are you really excited to see Dan Hurley, the most nondescript person in the history of time, against Eric Muscle Man that looks like Skip Bayless with his shirt off?
Absolutely. I'm all for it.
It's Seacrest out. I'll pass.
Why?
Because there's just
hate
really
Arkansas?
I love Arkansas. They burned me a billion times this year. And, yeah, I saw 2 cohesive games, one where you played a team that wasn't athletically anywhere near you, and the other against a team that didn't have their coach. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not jumping up and down about that. I mean, I'm looking at the 8 matchups going, yeah, Gonzaga, UCLA will be fun. It's also at 4 o'clock in the morning on Thursday night. So I'm going to have to go to bed early so I can catch that one when I wake up.
Right. Because
for whatever reason, we have to play these at 9:45 at night. And other than that, Miami and Houston, and that's okay. That's somewhat interesting. Mm-hmm. Princeton, Creighton. I would literally rather watch you do my taxes. Out. I'm out. I don't care. There are no brands. There's 4 high-end players left? I think when I went through my most recent NBA mock draft, there are 3 guys that go in the first round and 2 of them play for Alabama. Mm-hmm. That's not really aesthetically pleasing to me.
There were only 6 of them in college basketball that were going to get drafted in the first round anyway.
And I guess that's the problem, is that I watch this and go, yes, I like watching the UNC Asheville's and the Furmans and these smaller schools that have been together for a long time. I like watching cognitive basketball. What I don't like watching is, hey, look, Alabama has the best player on the floor, and he makes all of you look awful. First round game, didn't score a point. They won by 30. Mm-hmm. Yep, good. Second round game. Oh, yeah. He's the best player on the floor, and it's not even kind of close. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, it just doesn't – the NCAA tournament doesn't move me anymore.
Really?
And if one more person says, how's your bracket? Nobody cares, all right? That's that's like asking me, how's my fantasy team? Well, I made an ad drop with Jamal Williams.
Everybody's bracket sucks right now.
Yeah, it's all
and
awful.
You know what?
If you had Princeton, you're not good at this.
Right.
And you got real lucky.
Right. I was going to say, if your bracket doesn't suck, you didn't mean to.
No, 100%.
I was doing really well through the first two rounds or the first 2 days of the tournament. After the first round, I was like at the top 85 percentile on ESPN, and then yeah, I'm like 46% for the tournament now.
Yeah, when over half of your games have a line that's 4 or higher in the Sweet 16, yeah, that tells me everything I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
I'll continue to enjoy the cognitive basketball that's fun to watch.
I will say this again. I think we talked about this every tournament since we've been doing this show. I am good with the upset teams
once
until now.
I'm not.
Like
I wanted you gone
like
before.
like making it to the Sweet 16. That's a big deal. Like never in the million years would anybody ever consider Princeton to be one of the top 16 teams in the country. But here they are. Now you go up against Creighton. You will get your just desserts, and bye-bye, we'll see you later. It was fun while it lasted.
Oh, yeah, and FAU, FDU, that was fun.
Oh, yeah. If you watch more than 5 seconds of that game, I think you need your head examined.
Yeah, because if I had to hear one more time, FDU got the Dayton band to come follow them around because they don't have a band. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Uh-huh.
And then I found out how much FDU's coach makes, and I couldn't stop looking at him like a hobo.
You just felt bad for him.
He makes $22,000
just like
a year.
To throw him some change.
He makes $22,000 a year.
Well, what should he make? I mean, come on,
More
it's
than
Fairleigh
that.
Dickinson University. It's not like they've got a major budget over there.
He should make more than that, okay? He should be able to rent a studio apartment in Asheville with what he makes as the head coach at FDU.
I mean, I'm not trying to take a shot here or anything, but during our SoCon coverage of the games, Richmond Weaver said he used to be a coach at Fairleigh Dickinson.
I think I knew that.
So, I mean, again, not trying to take a shot at Richmond Weaver, but he's hosting a radio show down in Greenville, South Carolina right now. It's not like they've got a whole lot of money to spend on college coaches.
At Sports Think ESPN. Rich is a very bright guy.
I love Rich.
I used to coach too. It shocked me when I found out that a D1 head coach is making less than I've made in stops along the way.
Right.
That's kind of confounding to me.
You had your 16 over a 1 for only the second time in history. You had a 15 seed.
By the way,
come away
never
with
take
a win.
Purdue again, ever. In anything.
No. And I knew it. I knew it as soon as I did it in my bracket. I went, you know what? I've taken Purdue every year for the last 3 years to win a game or two in the NCAA tournament. They've bitten me every time. This is going to be the year that they're gonna win some games.
I'll tell you my favorite stat of the day. In the last so the tournament expanded in 85. There are 4 schools that have lost to a 13 or higher in the first round 3 or more times. Purdue's done it 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
3 years in a row! That's hard to do!
Alex Majabi in the comments says, as a Purdue fan, I give up.
They had
maybe you should.
Zion said they had a 7-4 monster and got owned by the smallest roster in college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
That part I was kind of fond of. I will also say by that time, that game was late. What was it? That was Friday night. So by that point on St. Patrick's Day, I had overachieved.
Yes, as did I.
Oh yeah. Fun Time Tank Spencer came out on Thursday.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was a sight to behold. I mean, we're used to watching Jeremy work a shift at the bar on the other side. Seeing Tank do it is oh my.
Yeah. And I gotta thank I gotta thank your lovely wife for that last little nugget of advice. Oh, she's coming to pick you up. You can just have one more.
Oh yeah.
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 Well, the one more was more than I needed.
Yeah. Sorry, Long Shoals Road.
Yeah.
That didn't go Tank's way.
No, it didn't go Long Shoals Road away either. I had fun with the basketball, as I always do. Are the crowds lesser? Sure. What was the game you were telling me? The
Xavier
Greensboro
and
game?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I think there have been more people at games I coached.
Crowds didn't show up for some of the games, and that's unfortunate. This would be where I would use that old, maybe if you put them in some better spots, maybe you'd get better crowds, but then Greensboro was the one that was the culprit, and so I can't say that anymore. Because I like seeing the tournaments in Greensboro. But I expected crowds like that in Des Moines, Iowa. Who the hell wants to go to Des Moines, Iowa?
It just, for me, it didn't do it for me. And that is the March sadness discussion for the day. But that's not what we do here. You know what we talk about here? Football!
That's right.
And that's what's coming.
That's right. We got free agency grades coming up in the next hour. We'll also talk about, some of the moves that have been made over the weekend. The Detroit Lions out here doing stuff. C.J. Gardner Johnson has been signed. What's the fallout here from the offseason so far for the Detroit Lions? We'll talk about it up next.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
The hugs, the joy, even the sleepless nights. Whatever you get from parenthood, you always want to give your children everything. And the UNest app makes it easy to save for their future. The UNest app puts smart investing tools right in the palm of your hand. Plus, you'll grow your UNest account with every purchase you make from over 150 top brands like Disney Plus and DoorDash. Start building your child's financial future. Download the UNest app from the App Store or Google Play. See terms and conditions at unest.co. That's UNEST.co.
I like to be active, and as you get older, I know it because I am older, you're more prone to injury, and I could not get rid of the pain.
QC Kinetics patient Diane Richardson talking about how a hiking injury left her in awful pain.
No one wants to live in pain. I certainly don't want to live in pain. I don't have time for pain.
Diane had heard about regenerative medicine, so she called QC Kinetics and started treatment right away, and the results were incredible.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using natural biologics, healing properties from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. There's no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime.
The result was phenomenal. I mean, I was not feeling any pain. I'm able to do everything that I want to do.
If you have pain from arthritis or injury, this may be the solution you're looking for. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
It was a game changer.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It is the Sportsocracy, and we are inside the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville. And the Detroit Lions are one of those teams that we're going to be talking about in the 4 o'clock hour as we give away our free agency grades so far through the process. I mean, we're a pretty good chunk of the way through it. I mean,
in terms of best player left, things are getting a little scarce.
Just a tad. As Detroit has done a pretty good job this offseason, and the latest signing, C.J. Gardner Johnson.
Who may be the player that gets on my nerves the most in the NFL.
Why?
Attitude. It's always he's one of those players you just watch. He gets into fights all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But He does bring a nice pedigree to Detroit. He's a very good player, and you got him for a song. A 1-year, $8 million prove-it deal, that's probably the best signing I've seen all year.
Mm-hmm.
If not the fact the Steelers got Isaac Suamolo for $8. We will give you the change in our pocket, and you come be the best player on our offensive line.
Right.
Is that good for you? Yeah.
My question about is what does this mean schematically for Detroit? I mean, because they went out this offseason, they got Cameron Sutton, they got Emmanuel Mosley, they got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they still have Jeff Okudah.
Mm-hmm.
They've
completely made over the secondary, which is exactly what they needed to do.
Are they going to move, or are they going to expect C.J. Gardner-Johnson or ask him to play safety like he did in Philly this past year?
I mean, he's one of those mobile players. It's a very modern-day NFL. He plays safety. He can also play in the slot. I mean, that's the kind of player that somebody like Aaron Glenn just looks at and goes, there's so much room for opportunities. There's so much room for activities. That's what good teams do. You go get a guy like that. I'm not going to tell – look, I'm not telling you Detroit's going to have a top 5 defense in the NFL. What I'm saying is that now Detroit's got the 6th pick in this draft, and you don't have to do anything. You can do whatever you want to do. Whatever player you fall in love with, that's who you can take because you don't have to take Christian Gonzalez at 6. If you love Jalen Carter, you can take Jalen Carter. If you love Tyree Wilson, you can take Tyree Wilson. Doesn't matter. And that is how good rosters become great rosters. And that's what I feel like the Detroit Lions have done. Now, conversely, there is a team that also has a kitty cat mascot, and there's blue in it. And I don't think you're going to like what I have to say about what they've done.
Okay. Obviously, you're talking about the Carolina Panthers.
The Adam Thielen deal is awful. It's an awful signing. It is a desperation move from a team that overpaid to get the number 1 pick.
Why? Because you gave him too much guaranteed money?
I can literally just blow sunshine and rainbows up your keister all you want me to, but I'd be lying. This is a 33-year-old receiver that's 33 going on 38. You just gave him $14 million guaranteed. Now, can he be a good locker room guy? Sure. He should not be anything better than your third receiver, and I don't see this is what bothered me when Carolina traded up, is that I'm looking at how you're going to build this roster. I have a huge aversion to playing non-franchise level quarterbacks with bad rosters. I just do. Mm-hmm. Trevor Lawrence, he could deal with having a mediocre roster around him because he's an elite prospect. There's not an elite quarterback prospect in this draft. Fact or fiction? I mean, I know I'm the draft guy, but
I felt like there were 2, weren't there?
And, well, one of them's small, and one of them has good tape at times, bad tape at times. I feel like C.J. Stroud needs to be developed if that's what you're doing. Alex S. asked us in the YouTube comments, do you believe in Terrace Marshall or Shi Smith? I love Shi Smith. That's a 4. I know I've never really bought into Terrace Marshall. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like every one of your receivers is stepping up a spot from where they should be. Hayden Hurst should not be your no doubt highly paid tight end. Terrace Marshall should not be your 2. Adam Thielen should not be the most distinguished receiver in your room if you're going to put a young quarterback back behind it, because you're putting him behind the 8 ball. Because now he's going to – what does that do? And I've watched this probably 50 times over the last 20 years. You put a quarterback that comes in with this pedigree, and you bring him to the NFL. What does the game do when you come in?
Speeds up.
It speeds up. Everything is faster at the NFL level. So now, and I'm going under the assumption that it's C.J. Stroud. Could it be Bryce Young? Yes. I heard what Scott Fitterer said today. Size doesn't make all the okay. From today until April 27th, I don't believe a word anybody says out loud. I've been burned too many times. So let's go into the assumption that it's C.J. Stroud. What was his biggest problem at Ohio State? He stared down receivers until they got open. Okay. That doesn't happen in the NFL. In the NFL, you have split-second windows to get the ball after the break, however it's schemed up. It's split-second decisions. And this is a guy that holds on to the ball too long. That's not an opinion. It's a fact. He would tell you the same thing. So instead of giving him speed receivers, I like DJ Chark. Do I like him being your 1? No, I don't. There's a reason that no team in the league has been interested in that. But you're desperate because you traded DJ Moore. in a trade that you shouldn't have. And so now all you're doing is catching up. I'm going to go get Adam Thielen because he's the best receiver on the market. He's still a broken-down 33-year-old slot guy. That's what he is. And I'm looking around going, I like a lot of this roster, but your weapons absolutely terrify me. And it makes me like this move so much less.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I said when we did that mock draft right after the trade happened. I don't know who you thought was jumping up there to make that deal with the Bears. That team doesn't exist. And since this trade's been made, I've had yet to have one person in the NFL say, "Oh yeah, they had real legitimate. It was a real legitimate threat from the Raiders or the Colts." What I was told, the Bears talked to the Colts about 4. They said, "We want your one this year, your one next year, and Michael Pittman Jr." And they laughed out loud, and there was never another conversation had. Because Chris Ballard walked away and said, "You are delusional." So there's no point in me talking to you because you're a crazy person. I think they thought closer to the draft they'd be able to make something work. Then Carolina comes in and does something desperate. I always hate when you make moves like that. I didn't feel like you had to move up. And if you did, you didn't have to move up this far. Chicago was no threat to take a quarterback. Arizona's no threat to take a quarterback. Seattle, Detroit at this point, I don't really value to be a threat to take a quarterback unless one fell in their lap. So now you've given up all of this draft capital and all these assets, and you're chasing. And you're throwing bad money at a bad problem. And that's what happens when you sign somebody like Adam Thielen. I'm not telling you he's not a great locker room guy. He is. Patrick Holt with a perfect comment here. Look at what Adam Thielen did last year and understand that the best receiver in the NFL was on the other side of him. What do you think that's going to turn into when you got Terrace Marshall on the other side of him? That's my problem. When you make reactionary moves, bad things tend to happen. And I'm looking around that division going, New Orleans right now is better to me, and I don't think it's all that close. I think you're better than Atlanta, and I think you're better than Tampa Bay. By the way, if you didn't see their tweet today with Baker Mayfield, it said, "Let's bake." I want that framed and put in this studio immediately.
No, let's not do that.
Well, it's already happening, so it's going to be sitting right here over my head come about the end of the week.
Yeah, I'm completely on the other side of you on the Carolina Panthers thing. Did they pay a premium? Yes, they did, but they had to do that to get to the number 1 pick.
That's
because you wanted to have, no doubt, your guy.
Okay, then why do you keep trying to – here's what bothers me about that. Then why do you keep telling me that there's so many quarterbacks you feel comfortable with? What are you trying to leverage?
There's 2.
What Scott Fitter said today is that there are multiple quarterbacks we like. We will not be deterred by size alone, and we feel like there are multiple franchise guys in this draft. If you believe that, then why did you trade up to 1? You made a deal that no team in the league would have made other than you.
Who else was shopping their pick? Could you have gotten Houston at 2? No. Houston was the one you were scared of. Houston's the one that you knew you weren't going to get one of your guys. I feel like they're all in for C.J. Stroud.
And that's fine. Then say that. Because everything you're saying is making you sound stupid.
I get it.
But this idea that you would trade back down. Everybody in the NFL would make fun of you instantaneously.
Right.
Because you gave up 130% to get there, and you'll get 95% to move back down. And then, allegedly, you could still lose your guy. That doesn't make any sense.
Of course it doesn't.
Stop trying to make me believe things. All right, there's somebody you went to get. Let's talk about that right now. There's nobody impeding you. So if it's C.J. Stroud, whatever the case may be, stop trying to sell me on everybody else. I told you this before the show.
I don't know why franchises feel like they have to play this game.
It's infuriating, and they don't do it behind closed doors. And then it's, well, this is off the record. Don't say that.
Right.
Why? What does it matter? You're picking 1. Nobody can mess with you. You paid the premium to go get the guy. Sell me on the guy. Stop selling me on how good this quarterback class is. It's not. And I'm not a moron, so I already know that. If there was an elite quarterback in this class, elite, would Chicago have traded the number 1 pick?
No.
No,
if Trevor Lawrence was on the board at 1, they wouldn't even have been
They would have taken him, and they would have gone, well, I hope we get a 3 for Justin Fields because he's going away from here.
Right. Carolina.
I get putting lipstick on the pig. I do. You have to sell me on it. You have to really rally up the fan base. I get that. but rally me on the one guy that you came up here to get. Because everything you're saying now and all of these moves are making me think that you don't have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
If your plan when you traded DJ Moore was we're going to walk into this year with Adam Thielen and Terrace Marshall and Shi Smith and Hayden Hurst and Miles Sanders, okay, that sounds like a Madden Ultimate Team when you first bought the game.
Right.
It's fine. You get where you're going, but it's going to be much more difficult than it would be if you had a plan.
Mm-hmm. $14 million guaranteed for Adam Thielen
is insane.
It's a bit. It's a bit. But also, if you're looking to build a culture, this is somebody that Frank Reich wants that, he wants that veteran leadership in the locker room. And he wants steady hands for a rookie quarterback, which Adam Thielen has.
I have no
and
problem
so we'll play
with
him out of the
that
slot,
guy.
and we'll give him, we'll play it short. We'll run the damn ball with Miles Sanders that we just signed in free agency. We're going to play damn good defense. I look at this completely different. I mean, would I have paid that much to get up to number one for a questionable quarterback? No, probably not. But you felt like you had to make the move because you didn't know when you were going to get the opportunity to do it again.
The thing I don't understand is if you wanted to pay that premium because you believe in a guy and you're willing to stake your reputation on it, which you obviously are because you made the trade, sell me on that guy.
Yeah.
Stop trying to sell me on the process. Just, okay, lather it up. Tell me who this guy is, and then let me fall in love with that. Don't play this cloak and dagger game for the next 38 days. Because by the end of it, here's what's going to happen. You will have convinced a portion of your fan base that they love C.J. Stroud. You will have convinced a portion of your fan base that they love Bryce Young. And you will have convinced a portion of your fan base that they love Anthony Richardson. And you know what? These two are going to be disappointed in whoever you take. You've got a section of the fan base that's disappointed, and now if this doesn't work out, you look dumb to the fan base.
Mm-hmm.
I watch teams do this every single year, and it is absolutely maddening to me.
The only thing I can think is maybe the reason they do this is to appease those folks who are all over Anthony Richardson or those who are all over Bryce Young. We kept our window open. We kept looking at these quarterbacks. And then once we get closer to the draft, we get like 2 weeks away, then maybe we'll go all in on C.J. Stroud. This is our guy.
This is a quarterback class that if I'm trying to convince you to love a guy or hate a guy, I can do it in 3 sentences. But when you keep telling me that there's so many in this draft class, then why did you trade up that far? Because that doesn't make any sense to me.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
A little milder for us here as we head through midweek, but quite a bit warmer looking ahead to the end of the business week. Cold again tonight, though, mainly clear skies, temperatures into the mid-20s. Mix of clouds and sunshine for tomorrow. Afternoon highs in the middle to upper 50s with a bit of a south to southeast breeze. Cloudy skies on Wednesday with a stray shower or two possible. Temperatures in the upper 50s. Mix of clouds and sun upper 70s Thursday, Friday. I'm Ken Boone with the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. You're keeping up with updated traffic and weather, but are you doing the same when it comes to COVID-19? Sign up now for reliable info on COVID-19 and a vaccine option, resources, and more at PfizerCovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Reset your rest at Mattress Firm's Big Spring Sale. Shop top brands today and save up to $700. Plus, get a free adjustable base with select purchases. Time to score big savings on your dream bed.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now.
Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. And, 14 people apparently were watching LIV golf over the weekend.
Yeah, it was real bad.
It was not good. Their what was that? The average audience was 0.14.
I think I'm going to call them and ask, what would it cost for me to sponsor your next event?
Once again,
$43.
Once again, the LIV golf on the CW network was beaten out by the world's funniest animals over the weekend. Most of us were watching college basketball on Saturday, but if you happen to be one of the few people actually tuning in for the LIV golf, you got to see a golfer do something that, well, lots of golfers do on the golf course, right? I mean,
drink beer.
Let it fly, right? You got to let it fly.
I know where you're headed with this.
Well, Sergio Garcia let it fly in a completely different way this weekend. He got caught on camera on the CW live peeing in the bushes.
Hey, as somebody that's played a lot of golf, it happens. Okay, just you do that sometimes.
There was a golfer in the tee box getting ready to tee off, and then all of a sudden, like, I don't know what it was. Maybe an airplane went by or something. There was a noise thing, and he was just like, oh, he checked up real quick. And then you see
I love that you called it checked up. That's, I'm going to use that forever. He checked up. Oh, boy.
Well, what? What do you call that? When you get in your stance, and then you're just like, no. You just back away.
By that time on a golf course, I frankly don't care. It's airplane. How you doing?
You see somebody walk across the screen and just goes not even out of camera range, just goes right to the first bush he finds and just lets it fly. Oh, LIV providing the great entertainment that we all thought it was going to be when they launched.
Yes, that is going poorly.
No doubt about it.
It is going poorly.
I mean, do you know anything about it?
I still know the premise.
I didn't even know
it was won.
Right, like I didn't know it was on. They've got, I couldn't tell you what the best team is right now. I'm Seacrest out.
It's not good.
No.
You know what else wasn't good? Eric Muscleman deciding to just rip his shirt off like a lunatic.
No, winner of the weekend. Winner of the weekend.
Okay, first of all, I've seen me with a shirt off. I've seen you with a shirt off. Neither one of us should be really running out to do that anytime soon. If you look like Skip Bayless from the shoulders down, shirt off, bad call.
Yeah, Muscleman, bad name for him.
Yeah, 100%. Well, he's also not the craziest person that's associated with Arkansas because they have a very famous fan that's also a tidbit of a lunatic.
John Daly.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Also a bit of a role model to me. And apparently he's been calling Eric Musselman all week long, trying to give him advice on how to help the team shoot free throws. He's apparently got a series of putter alignment things that he thinks fall in line with how you shoot free throws.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I was a really good free throw shooter. I'm a horrendous putter. So I'm just going to say that I don't necessarily think those two things have anything in common with each other. On the podium after they beat Kansas, he tried calling me, got a couple texts already. Before we hit the plane, I'll try to call John. You know, he's been texting me even drills, like he wanted our guys to get a putter out and hit a ball into a cup. I would kill to hear what that voicemail sounds like. John Daly, I mean, this is the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament.
7 sheets to the wind.
No doubt. Sitting in a Hooters, just pounding domestic lights. Calling Eric Musselman with some meandering text message. Hey, buddy, you know what you ought to do? You ought to tell him to put the ball in a cup, help him shoot free throws. Call me back. You got my number. Hog Pig Suey.
I'm sure he
Love
also feels like if you just play my album for him.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll get him
That's how
amped
you
up
do
for the
it.
games.
Just to start breaking out John Daly bangers. Let's go.
Nobody wants to hear
Fantastic
that.
country western singer himself, John Daly.
More people want to see Eric Musselman with his shirt off than want to listen
4
to
people.
John Daly's music.
7 people, factually inaccurate. I think I'm going to do the 3rd hour of the show with my shirt off just to see how that goes.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. It would not be the first time.
Sadly enough, you're not wrong.
That was an uncomfortable day during the NFL draft.
And it might happen again this year. Who knows?
Please no. It is the Sportsocracy. You are inside the Ingles studio with us here on ESPN Asheville, and still nothing. Still nothing.
You know you want to.
Still nothing. No Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets, and there's all kinds of backtracking talk going on right now. Will the Green Bay Packers, could they pull out of this deal? Will the Jets have to, tap dance and go to Lamar Jackson? Are we going to do this every day?
I am genuinely dumbfounded at how many people don't get this. It's shocking me how many people don't get this. I said this a month ago. I heard Mike Tannenbaum echo exactly what I said over the weekend. That first-round pick's not coming to Green Bay. It's not. And you want me to tell you why? Because I don't have to. This thought that the Green Bay Packers hold all of the leverage in this negotiation is quite possibly the stupidest thing I've heard really smart people say over and over and over again. Let me tell you why. Because I haven't heard one person say this yet. So allow me to elaborate on my thought process. If you want to disagree with me, more power to you. You keep talking about the Jets don't have another option at quarterback. A, they do. One of them's Matthew Stafford. One of them's Kirk Cousins. Are you going to have to pay too much there? Yeah, you are. Will it be less than you have to pay Aaron Rodgers if you give them what you want, what they want? Yeah, Yeah, it will. This is not, it's either Aaron Rodgers or you're going to play Zach Wilson. Here's the other part of this. You're going into a season having been the banner franchise of the NFC North for the last 40 years. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
You drafted Jordan Love. Not me. Not the Jets. Not Aaron Rodgers. You did this. Brian Gutekunst did this.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he do that? How did he sell that? I've got this great Hall of Fame level quarterback, and I drafted another one. But why did I do that? Because I wanted the transition to be smooth. We've still got a roster that's better than the Lions and the Bears and the Vikings. So basically what you're telling me is that you're lying. If you just sit on Aaron and sit on, I believe it's $58 million that you would owe him, because he's doing nothing to help you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he went on Pat's show to tell you this. I'm not going to help you. That cap hit's going to be every dime of what it's supposed to be if you don't give me what I want. The only way you're going to get any kind of reprieve, any kind of draft capital to put a better roster around your quarterback, the one that you didn't get me a receiver so you could take him to really ride off into the sunset, you're as leveraged here as I am. And I don't understand why people don't get that. If you go into a season, let's just say you have to outright release Aaron on September the 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that costs?
$60 million.
$75 million.
Wow.
It costs you $44 million in active cap space. You're already sitting on $19 million in dead cap. So what that means is that you would go into the 2023 season with this quarterback that this is the next leader of the franchise. We traded up to get him. And I'm going to give him a roster that's $60 million in dead cap space. $60 million paying for zero. How does that tell you what Jordan Love is? How does that tell you anything about what Jordan Love is? If he comes out and he's terrible, well, he has nothing around him. You had to demolish the roster just to get under the cap. You're as leveraged as the Jets are, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so let me tell you how this is going to end. And it's not going to be today, and it's not going to be tomorrow. The New York Jets are going to come to the Green Bay Packers, and they say, we'll give you our second-round pick this year. It's 46, 45, somewhere in there. We'll give you that. And then there's going to be a conditional pick on the backside. If Aaron Rodgers retires after one calendar year, it's a 4. If he's on the roster, it's a 3. If we make the playoffs, it's a 2. And if we go to the Super Bowl, it's a 1. And we're done. You can keep gnashing your teeth and not liking it all you want to because you don't have another buyer. See, this is how I can't believe I'm having to explain basic civics to people. Supply and demand is a great thing, and it's really how capitalism works. The problem is your supply can be whatever you want it to be. If there's no demand, it doesn't mean anything. Lamar Jackson can't get people to answer the phone. Not because he's not a good player. He is a good player. Nobody wants to deal with all of the logistics that go into it. If Baltimore picked up the phone right now and said, we'll let you negotiate with Lamar Jackson, we'll do the 2-2s, you get the contract done. There are no less than 7 teams in the NFL that would be on the phone with him right now.
Yep.
And the New York Jets would probably be one of them. I can't confirm that, but I can tell you they'd probably be one of them. And yet nobody's picked up the phone and called Lamar. There's a report out today that there's been no offer sheet even discussed with another team.
Right.
Why? Because the supply is fine. It's not that we don't believe in Lamar Jackson. It's the demand that's the problem. I don't want to sit on cap space for 7 days for you to possibly just yank him out from underneath me, and then I have to go plan B. That's exactly where the Packers are with Aaron Rodgers. If the Jets go away, this is the part that I've yet to hear anybody say. Let's say the Jets just throw their hands up on this and go, you know what, we're tired of playing your game. What do you do now? What's your path now, Brian Gutekunst? We're going to have this just genuinely, a quarter of your cap space is going to be in dead money that's paying absolutely no one.
Right.
With a mediocre quarterback, I'm seeing Packers fans saying that in our YouTube chat. We already know he's mediocre. Yeah, I get that. It's a hard sell of I traded up to get Jordan Love, and then he's just genuinely awful.
Mm-hmm.
You need this to be as hunky-dunky as humanly possible. And you know where I'm getting this? I believe Tank can probably answer this because I say this every time the New York Jets come up. I'm not just pulling it out of thin air. It's coming out of the building.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets know where they're at. Yes, we need Aaron Rodgers. You need him out of your building more than we need him.
And I would tend to agree with everything you said right there. The question for me becomes, what are they waiting on?
What is who waiting on?
I mean, is Green Bay waiting for the draft?
Green Bay wants the 13th pick in this draft. The Jets have drawn a very aggressive line in the sand of we're not doing that. We're not. Because they want a second pick on the backside. That's fine. We'll give you 2. We agreed to 2 before we ever met the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem. Or at least this is what I've been told the problem is. I'm not involved in the negotiations. I'm connected to the team.
Right.
They met with Aaron with the compensation agreed to. As soon as he came to them and said, I want to play, and I want to play for the New York Jets, apparently that rubbed them the wrong way.
Hate it for you.
And now, and that's what the
Right.
Jets are saying.
Hate it for
You
you.
agreed to this. You negotiated in good faith. And now you want us to overpay because you don't like what you heard. Well, tough excrement. And the Jets are just sitting around going, April 27th is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take a player at 13. And I see Zion saying, it's either the 13th pick or Milf Hunter. Okay. It's either the second-round pick or you get to continue dealing with Aaron Rodgers and you pay his money.
Mm-hmm.
That's what nobody wants to go past the comma of, it's Zach Wilson or the 13th pick. Okay, my gun's pointed at you too.
Right. Do you think that after all of this, after the offseason that has transpired here, and Aaron Rodgers has come out and basically just blasted everybody in the Green Bay Packers organization by not mentioning them.
And what do you think? They're going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya?
Right.
And have a nice cup of ayahuasca together? No. And you owe him a ton of money.
It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We'll got Jeremy's bangers for the rest of the tournament. He's got updated Final Four picks next.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles.
See you later, Dad.
All the ingredients for family.
What do you mean he went searching for fresher powder? We have full classes today.
Instructor down at Vesper Ski School.
Toward each other to snowplow, honey, not away.
She needs more ski instructors to slalom through the day-to-day.
Pizza, fries. Whoa, Braley, no, pizza.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito is back at Taco Bell. And in case you didn't know, it's stacked. Yeah, packed inside it is a double serving of premium grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer. Then on top of that, it has a layer of grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. Yeah, the outside. Why? Probably because it refuses to be caged in by the confines of its tortilla walls. Or maybe just to add more cheesy flavor.
Double steak grilled cheese burrito. Get one today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Double steak claim is compared to steak quesadilla. Contact store for hours and participation which vary.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to espnavl.com.
The Atlanta Braves are back, and this 2023 team is ready for another epic season.
1-1 pitch. There's a deep drive to left center field. This thing is clear for takeoff. Back-to-back home runs, Ozuna and Riley.
Next Thursday afternoon, it's the 2023 season opener live from Washington, D.C. as the Atlanta Braves open the season against the Nationals. Braves Radio goes on the air at 11:50 Eastern, 10:50 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Coffee's for closers, homie. Get them the money.
Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Hey now, how
realize you're bracketing them. Almost half of the top 16 seeds were eliminated in the first weekend, and we still have a 15 playing. You remember that thing I said about Duke? People kept sending me tweets at ESPN Draft Nerd of how stupid I am. Yeah, that was awesome. Just saying, there are still seats on the Creighton bandwagon. You're not getting them at plus 3,000 anymore, although there is one on that line that you can get that we'll talk about in a minute. But they are still my favorite to cut down the nets 2 weeks from now. This is Greene on Greene, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. Early betting lines after this weekend have the Alabama Crimson Tide as the favorite to win it all at plus 375. I can't tell you that's wrong, and I think having a piece of them is good, but the value isn't great, even though I do think they're the team to beat. But I'm a value guy, and that's what I'm here to give you. I feel like all of the deep dogs, Princeton, Florida Atlantic, and the like, are all just sucker bets that you would be chasing money on. None of them have the talent to win 6 games in a row, and while they have a shot to win another game, that's probably as far as they go. With that being said, I'm going to double down on the Creighton Blue Jays. They play Princeton in the round of 16, which is a huge advantage. Princeton's disciplined, but they don't have the horses to beat Creighton. That would leave them with the winner of Alabama-San Diego State, and they match up perfectly with both. They would also catch the winner in the East in the Final Four, which means there's a chance that the highest seed they would have played to get to the national title game would be the number 3 seed Baylor that they blew out last night. Now, if you don't want to follow me down the path to happiness with Creighton, I'm still very heavy on Texas at plus 850. I just worry that as time goes on, they're eventually going to get into a close game, and the fact they're at a coaching disadvantage is going to show itself. I like Rodney Terry, but we seem to be forgetting that he was a college head coach for 10 years, never won a tournament game, and only got there once. This is my favorite roster in the country, and I know they love playing for the guy. But you're going to have to show me that he can outcoach the likes of Tom Izzo, Kelvin Sampson, Mark Few, etc., etc. That brings me to the only other big number that I'm chasing as we head into the second weekend. Kansas State. Jerome Tang finally got his shot at the big chair, and he's making the most of it. Their second-round game with Kentucky was the best game I've seen all weekend long. They play fast but under control, and that's just very different from what I see out of other schools. They're the anti-Virginia, but the principle still carries. The reason that Virginia's struggled so much to win big games of late is because they can't score enough points. But they still slow you down and make you play their game, which teams struggle with. The Wildcats do the exact same thing on the opposite side. They're going to speed you up, and it's going to lead to mistakes. That's how they were able to beat a Kentucky team in spite of the box score, looking like Kentucky should have slaughtered them. At plus 3,000, there are worse places that you could put your money on than the Wildcats in purple. I lost 2 Final Four teams over the past weekend. And looking at the bracket moving forward, I'm sticking with Texas and Creighton and rolling with Kansas State and UCLA to join them in Houston next week. For more, follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. And as always, Greene on Greene is brought to you by Ingles Markets. Love the savings with Ingles. Love the winnings with me. Mull it out.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
A little milder for us here as we head through midweek, but quite a bit warmer looking ahead to the end of the business week. Cold again tonight, though, mainly clear skies, temperatures into the mid-20s. Mix of clouds and sunshine for tomorrow. Afternoon highs in the middle to upper 50s with a bit of a south to southeast breeze. Cloudy skies on Wednesday with a stray shower or 2 possible. Temperatures in the upper 50s. Mix of clouds and sun upper 70s Thursday, Friday. I'm Ken Boone with the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A. Copyright 2023.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito is back at Taco Bell. And in case you didn't know, it's stacked. Yeah, packed inside it is a double serving of premium grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer. Then on top of that, it has a layer of grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. Yeah, the outside. Why? Probably because it refuses to be caged in by the confines of its tortilla walls. Or maybe just to add more cheesy flavor.
Double steak grilled cheese burrito. Get one today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Double the steak claim as compared to steak quesadilla. Contact store for hours and participation which vary.
Staples Print and Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends 4/15. Visit staples.com/printbig for details. This is your sign to try Staples, where your prints are perfect, guaranteed.
63 Americans a day
die by gun suicide. By storing our guns safely, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo, we can give our loved ones a second chance at life. Learn more at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Iona basketball coach Rick Pitino has agreed on a 6-year deal to become the next coach at St. John's. NFL Cowboys likely out of the running for free agent Odell Beckham Jr. after trading for receiver Brandon Cooks. As many as 14 teams recently attended OBJ's workout in Arizona. Teams remain interested, but with Beckham coming back from his second ACL surgery, it might take time to get a contract done, explains ESPN's Dan Graziano.
Right now, there's a difference between his expectations and what teams are willing to offer, but it's only March, right? There's no games for 6 months, so I think he'll get somewhere. It's just a matter of finding the right deal for a guy that missed all of last season and is coming off 2 ACLs. You know, it's not as simple as, oh, it's Odell Beckham, let's get him in the building, even though he might think that.
Dan Graziano on Greene. NBA, Ja Morant is expected to be on the bench tonight, but the Grizzlies won't have their best player back in the lineup versus the Mavericks. He won't play because of conditioning. Today is the first day that Morant can work with Memphis's coaches and trainers since serving his 8-game suspension for a March 4th gun incident at a Denver club.
A championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle. So for parts that fit, head to eBay Motors and look for the green check. Stay in the game with eBay Guaranteed Fit. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
You are in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy. We are heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel, join us in the chat. You can also join the House of Reprehensibles. We encourage that as well. Just a nominal $2.99 a month fee to show your support for the Sportsocracy here, but not required. However, subscription is required to get into the chat with us and all of the best comments
that just
of the
keeps,
day.
That keeps the bots at bay.
Yes, all of the best comments of the day get highlighted here in the Sportsocracy. It is it's time to talk some free agency because, well, that's what we do here in the Sportsocracy. Just before the Draftmas season fully kicks in gear, it's sorting out who did the best with what they had in free agency. And Jeremy, you're probably, I guess if the first hour was any indication, you're probably going to disagree with me on this one. But I mean, I have the Carolina Panthers as a winner of this offseason. So
I don't. I mean, I have them as a net neutral. I understand why you've done everything you've done. I think your roster is better. And I salute that Kevin Vick in the YouTube comments said, I'm not used to my team actually making moves in free agency. I get it. I don't dislike anything you've done. I think it's a little short-sighted.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, as I said in Green on Green, I'm a value guy. I look at certain signings that I'm a big fan of. I look at others that I'm not as big a fan of, and it almost always comes down to either draft pick compensation or money. So maybe I'm a little biased being the draft guy. Mm-hmm. So I said all of my contentions with Carolina. You feel free to say why you think it's wonderful.
Well, I mean, I just feel like this team's gotten better. I mean, you lost DJ Moore. Okay, that's going to sting a little bit.
All right, so
but you're putting yourself in a position to be better for the future. You weren't going to be in this position holding on to DJ Moore. I don't believe. I don't believe there's a way that you get the deal done to get the number one pick and not give up DJ Moore. You decided that's what you had to do to get your quarterback of the future, and I don't disagree with you. Because I feel like if they were going to go like this, they put that all-star cast together as in the coaching staff, and then you were going to go out and you were going to make some key additions in free agency, this is a better team than they were last year.
Okay,
so
so
I
let me
don't
ask
see
you.
you picking in the top 10 again next year.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. What does this roster right now do better than last year's team did? Think about the team that went into the season.
Mm-hmm.
Do you run the ball better? Oh, good God, no. Oh, good God, no. You had Christian McCaffrey and Deontay Foreman. I could argue both of them are better than any running back on this roster.
Better than Miles Sanders.
Look, I like Miles. I've always liked Miles, and I'm projecting here. I've seen Deontay Foreman have better games than Miles Sanders did.
Mm-hmm.
Just facts don't care about your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
That's just true. I think Miles Sanders is a more talented player. He's not more talented than Christian McCaffrey. That's what you went into last year with.
Yeah.
All right. Are your weapons better? Looking at what's on the outside right now, is that better than what you had last year with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson?
No.
No. The offensive line is the same. It's the same 5 players,
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of hard to argue on.
Mm-hmm. Which I felt like was an important key.
I did too.
They showed improvement down the stretch of last year, so keep the band together.
Kevin Vick said tight end. I'll agree with you there.
Tight end, 100%.
And
not even close.
And that's because you signed a living, breathing one, and that helps.
Right. So, no, we don't have to deal with this Ian Thomas myth anymore.
And then defensively, are you significantly better or about the same?
About the same.
There you go. All right. This was not a good team last year. I don't know where that myth's coming from.
No.
And now you're going to throw a rookie into this with everything you do offensively being worse. That's where my problem is. I hate that you put DJ Moore in this deal. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Hated it the second I saw it because I knew how hard it was going to be to replace. Not that you couldn't draft another rookie. It's just how many – and this kind of goes back to my dating record. How many threes do you have to make you feel good that you actually have the one? It's where Carolina's at. You got a whole mess of threes.
And I think part of the question here is also do we need to be good right now?
Because I'm glad you said that way.
Because DJ Moore obviously would have been a better team had DJ Moore been on this team.
No doubt.
Okay, he was under contract for 2 more years?
Something like that.
So you got a window there and you're going to have to pay him in 2 years.
Well, you were already paying him.
He
was already expensive, and you ate a ton of dead money.
Do you really want to keep doing this with DJ Moore? Or do you want to scrub it now, get the quarterback in there, get some trusted targets, and let's see how he develops?
Now, no smiles in our YouTube comment said, get your quarterback, worry about the rest later. Now that's where I wanted to go here. If there is a quarterback that you think is an elite franchise guy, and that is why you moved up here. Okay. You think there's a guy, your scouting department is telling you this is the guy. Stop telling me there's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Stop doing that. Because you're swaying how I'm thinking about this. You didn't give this up for, well, there's a few that we feel good about. Stop that. Go get your guy, and if you got the guy, then I'm wrong. Because if you get your guy for the next 10 years, there's no price that is too expensive to pay. Here's what I will tell you. In the history of trading up for the number 1 pick, it has almost never worked. And the reason is because you give up so much draft capital to get
What's
up
the
there.
best one?
Jared Goff.
Okay. That's the best it's ever been.
That's the best.
Okay.
In terms of moving up to get somebody would argue with me about Michael Vick, I'm sure, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. It's kind of like the Pete Rose thing. It makes my head hurt, and I don't want to.
Right.
So, yeah, for me, Carolina's not the big winner of the offseason. And for me, there is a big winner. And they are 1, 2, and 4.
Detroit Lions.
No, Detroit would probably be 3.
Really?
This is going to hurt me to say. And some of you, I need you to prep for this. Don't accidentally wreck your car or anything like that because of what I'm getting ready to say. It's the Dallas Cowboys, and it's not even close.
What?
It's the Dallas Cowboys, and it's not even close.
For why?
You added 2 integral parts to your team. I needed a number 1 corner to put Trayvon Diggs where he was supposed to be because he's a legit, high-end, fantastic ball hawk too. I got that. Stephon Gilmore. I needed another field stretcher that wasn't me paying Odell Beckham Jr. some astronomically stupid amount of money. I got that in Brandon Cooks for a bag of footballs, a 5 and a 6.
Mm-hmm.
you win. Period. Name me a team in the NFL that added more talent to an already good roster than the Dallas Cowboys. I'll ask it another way. Tell me the team that you feel better about, not win-loss record or anything like that, because the Cowboys won a lot of games last year, that you feel better about their roster right now compared to how you felt last year than the Dallas Cowboys.
Detroit Lions.
It's just the secondary. I mean, and there's not really there's not an A guy there outside of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson who's just a move piece.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to denigrate that. They did a great job. But I don't feel better about them than I did the Cowboys. I'll be honest with you, I felt better about the Lions solely because the team's a year older. This is one of the youngest teams in the NFL. And you didn't have Jamison Williams for half the year. I like a lot of what the Lions have done, but I feel better about the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
And it feels weird for me to hear those words coming out of my mouth.
Okay. What's the we didn't put a grade on the Panthers. What's your grade?
C.
C?
They're a legit C for me.
Okay.
I wanted to give them an incomplete because I still don't know who the quarterback you moved up to get is.
Mm-hmm.
If it's Bryce Young, I'm probably going to take that down to a C-, even though I like him better as a long-term prospect. If it's C.J. Stroud, I'll probably push it up to a C+. And if it's Anthony Richardson, that grade becomes something I can't say on the show without being fined by the FCC.
It becomes a Gary Busey.
Oh, we hadn't done that in forever. We hadn't done that in a long time. Ooh, it's a toy I hadn't used in a while. Yeah, that would become full Gary Busey at that point.
All right. I mean, it's useless for me to give out letter grades because I grade on a curve.
Oh yeah,
like everybody.
You would have been the greatest professor ever. Everybody gets no worse than a C.
Indeed.
What about the guy that dropped the class? C.
C-.
He didn't show up past the first day. D+. Nobody fails.
Nope. Nobody fails. All right. So Dallas Cowboys.
A+.
A+.
A+. Didn't hurt yourself against the cap. You made the best use of what you had. Now, do I love the fact that you gave up the same amount for Brandon Cooks that you did for that you got back for Amari Cooper? No, I don't. You're also not paying Brandon Cooks the way that you would have been paying Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's a good player. He also has now tied the NFL record for most times being traded, and he's 28 years old. So that bothers me and always has, but he's a very good player.
I give Dallas its flowers, too, as well, for the Tony Pollard signing was something that they had to do. The Ezekiel Elliott come-to-Jesus meeting has apparently happened, and you thank your lucky stars for that. So, yeah, Dallas is up there. Get an A+ from Flostradamus, Jeremy Greene.
Do you have any other A's?
A's? I mean, Detroit.
No, I should have been cautious with how I said it. So on tank scale, do you have any A+++++ that you just feel like are better than everybody else?
I feel like Detroit's better than everybody. They're my A number one.
Okay, so move off Detroit. Anybody else? I've heard your flowers on Detroit. Anybody beyond that?
Not really. I mean, there were good signings, but not as a whole. Super high marks for their entire free agency class. The Broncos would be close, maybe.
Okay, that's one I was shocked you had not said. I feel like Denver went into this and did exactly what they needed to do to add pieces to make chicken salad out of the chicken excrement that you were handed with Russell Wilson.
Right. You went out and you spent big. You got Mike McGlinchey. You got Ben Powers.
The right side of your line is now ginormous.
Mm-hmm. You reorganized the offensive line. You got Zach Allen, who's a threat on the defensive line.
I love that signing so much. That's one that nobody will talk about. And I love that so much.
The only thing that they did that I'd kind of go, I don't really get was the Samaje Perine thing, but it's not like they paid way too much for him.
No, he's a valuable back. He showed that in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever love paying running backs. But
right, it's like $3.5 million. Felt like it was a little bit much for me, but
better
it's
running
fine.
back right now, David Montgomery or Samaje Perine.
I think it's close.
I think it's Samaje Perine, and I don't.
You really do?
I do.
Okay. Just because
the
of his
more I've watched
pass-catching
David
abilities?
Montgomery, the more I think, did he actually die at some point? And because his tape is god awful. Genuinely hard to watch at times.
Mm-hmm.
That's another reason that I kind of bang on Detroit is okay. You had Jamal Williams who fit this scheme perfectly, and you're trying to get happier than happy.
And they're going to expect him to do the same thing.
Yeah, and I think that may be a bit of a fool's errand.
And hopefully he'll be, he will be that durable piece when DeAndre Swift misses 6 games next year.
Denver was an A-. They were an A- to a B+, somewhere in that realm, because you did pay top dollar for every person you signed.
Okay.
I even like Jared Stidham, bringing him in as the backup, because that gives you a little bit of leverage of, hey, I got a guy that started games in this league.
Mm-hmm.
Russ, if you're not on board and you don't want to play this game with Sean Payton, great. I got somebody that I can at least move on with, because Davis Webb knows him so well.
I don't feel like that's a threat to Russell Wilson, really.
It's more of a threat than Brett Rippon was.
Sure.
And that's what I needed. I need somebody that I could at least sell. I need a backboard because of how bad Russell was.
Mm-hmm.
There's a team you haven't said yet, and we got to take a commercial break. After the commercial, there's another team that I think has absolutely killed free agency, and I don't hear anybody say it, and I'm not sure I understand why.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving stop and go 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue, 26 westbound crawling in the Mountain Home area, approaching Hendersonville Road and continuing to Long Shoals Road due to an accident, a detour in place. 26 eastbound is stop and go between Brevard Road and Long Shoals Road. In Haywood County, 40 westbound is stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. In the Bent Creek area, Brevard Road southbound is stop and go between Fore Road and Clayton Road. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road northbound is stop and go approaching Long Shoals Road. In Fletcher, Hendersonville Road northbound, stop and go approaching Fanning Bridge Road. Hendersonville Road northbound again, stop and go between Haywood Road and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is stop and go. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. During Staples Teacher Palooza, teachers save big, or you save, like 20% on all Crayola products, plus 80-count Lysol disinfecting wipes, or only $1.99. In-store only, offer ends $3.25 while supplies last. Help your favorite teacher stock their classroom at Staples.
Hello there. My name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is you know you're gonna get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. This is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches.
Order the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Honey, come here, quick.
What is it?
Shh, check it out. All these highly rated wines are under $20. Total Wine must have made a mistake.
Nope, they always have the lowest prices. Oh, remember that amazing rosé your sister brought over last week? See, it's right here.
Whoa, that's a low price. I mean, whoa, that's a low price.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito is back at Taco Bell. And in case you didn't know, it's stacked. Yeah, packed inside it is a double serving of premium grilled marinated steak and a melty 3-cheese layer. Then on top of that, it has a layer of grilled bubbly cheese on the outside. Yeah, the outside. Why? Probably because it refuses to be caged in by the confines of its tortilla walls. Or maybe just to add more cheesy flavor.
Double steak grilled cheese burrito. Get one today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Double steak claim is compared to steak quesadilla. Contact store for hours of participation which vary.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that, and that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home when it's time to buy. Visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
ESPN Asheville, this is the Sportsocracy, and free agency is, all the major headlines are gone, right?
There's not outside of Lamar Jackson.
Right. You got Lamar.
If anything were to happen there, it's going to take a minute.
You got Aaron Rodgers. And then everything else is, that guy's still out there.
That's special teams days. Let's go.
We're talking about the winners and the losers, giving out free agency grades here. And Denver Broncos, we ended on them. Dude, what was your grade?
I would go B+.
B+ for the Denver Broncos? All right.
But there's a team that nobody talks about, and I can't figure out why.
Okay.
It's the Cincinnati Bengals.
Ooh.
You've needed a left tackle for as long as I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
But now Jonah Williams wants a trade. Well, I wanted a date with the Spice Girls from about 1993 until yesterday. You don't always get what you want.
Yeah.
And even, let's say they do trade him. You do realize what he's going to command back, right? Probably to be a right tackle, not a left. But I could easily see a team giving up a day 2 pick for him.
Mm-hmm.
Late second, early third, and then another conditional pick. I mean, he's still a young guy. And it's not like you're going to be crushed up against it. I can't remember exactly how the trade would look, but I think it's straight cap savings if they were to move on from him.
And the deal you got for Orlando Brown was just incredible.
You paid less money to Orlando Brown than the Kansas City Chiefs paid to Jawan Taylor.
Right.
If I say that every day for the rest of my life, I don't think I'm going to make it make sense.
4 years, $64 million was a song for Orlando Brown, and you found a way to bring back Jermaine Pratt.
Yeah, for me, that's another side of this. Is that Cincinnati did exactly what I wanted them to do. You hit your number one need. Now you go into a draft that is real rich with tight ends, and that's your biggest need on the board to me.
Mm-hmm. Will some knock them because they lost out on Jesse Bates? Maybe.
I don't think you should. Because safety is not that hard of a position to replenish. They've done a pretty good job drafting over the last few years. And, I mean, Jesse Bates was worth the money to me with Atlanta because Atlanta doesn't have a ton of players that are going to command high-end contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati does.
You're right. I mean, to put it nicely.
Cincinnati's about to get really expensive.
Right,
so you're going to lose guys. Sorry,
right.
It's just the way it works.
Right. You got 3 guys that are getting ready to get primo contracts at their positions. So between T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and, of course, Joe Burrow getting ready to get his $500 million plus.
And now I feel like this is going to be one of those times that I'm going to say a name, and you're going to think, oh, Jeremy's saying nice things. Maybe he's progressed. And then there's going to be but.
Oh, no.
The Chicago Bears.
Okay, tell us your good things about the Chicago Bears.
Well, I mean, you absolutely annihilated the Panthers, I think, in that trade down. You may still get Jalen Carter. You may still get a high-end prospect. I think you really did a nice job with your linebackers with Tremaine Edmonds and T.J. Edwards. Let's take what you paid them off. You had $1 bajillion. I'm not that worried about it. I like the Nate Davis addition. I like the DeMarcus Walker addition, and I love that you got DJ Moore in the deal with Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the nice things. Now, if one more Chicago Bear fan goes back to something I said 3 months ago and goes, that aged well, I swear to you, I am going to send the most profanity-laden tirade you've ever seen in your life. I don't know what makes you think that all of a sudden this just makes you good. What you did. So I think they've spent $70 million in cap space. What you did, adding all of these players, got your roster to an NFL caliber. I didn't say not nary a word about good. You're now like with you were with the Texans to begin with. Now you're like to that Arizona Cardinals level. Okay, it's an NFL team. I still hate your quarterback. And I'm going to hate your quarterback until he proves me wrong, and I don't think he's going to. And I'll be honest with you, the way you staggered the trade compensation tells me that they know that too. I got a 1 next year and a 2 the following year. Ask yourself this question. If Ryan Poles didn't have just a ton of latitude with the Chicago Bears, would one of the bigger pieces of your trade package not been 2 years down the line? If he thought, oh, yeah, this Justin Fields thing better work, or, oh, I added a day 2 pick 2 years from now, which means I think I'm going to be here, and they're telling me I'm going to be here, which means we're going to do all these things for Justin Fields. If it craters into the rocks, we'll be one of the eight worst teams in the NFL next year anyway. We think that first-round pick from Carolina is going to come in the top 10 to 13. So now I got 2 top 13 picks. I can go get anybody I want because one of these bad teams will have taken a quarterback this year, and I can go get Caleb Williams, Drake May, whatever the case may be, which, by the way, is brilliant. That is a brilliant stroke of engineering for Ryan Poles to make chicken salad out of chicken excrement because he got handed a quarterback that he didn't draft, that they gave up an extra first-round pick to go get. You recouped that because the Houston Texans beat the Indianapolis Colts. It's nothing you did, and you took that value and you turned it into something tangible for your future. That's an A. The Chicago Bears, even if none of these signings work, you gave yourself a trap door. Of the Justin Fields thing doesn't work out, you have no excuses now. The line's better, the receiving corps is better, the defense is better. You have no excuses now. You come out and go 58% completion percentage guy next year, LMNO, bye-bye. And I think it's brilliant. I really do. I think Ryan Poles has done a phenomenal job with this roster.
Phenomenal. Okay.
And not because I think it's all that good.
But from where you went, from what you started with to where you're at now, you feel like they did a great job.
Your talent base is much better. You now can legitimately see what you have in Justin Fields, which I think is going to be very little. A year from now, there will be a desperate team that will give you something for him, and you can go get your quarterback of the future. If it doesn't work out. If it does work out, then I'll be here the same way I was with Jalen Hurts, saying, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Here, let me num on my crow. I just eat all of it out of a pan.
Can't wait till Atlanta's back on that watch list of, hey, maybe we should get Justin Fields.
Maybe we should have a quarterback.
All right. Philadelphia Eagles, they have to be on the plus side here.
Theirs is brilliant because they stayed on the right side of the compensation formula because they've re-signed all of their guys. No free agent additions, so that doesn't count. I kept my guys. I lose Javon Hargrave, who I'm going to get a third-round pick for. Lost Chauncey Gardner Johnson, who I'm probably going to get a third-round pick for, which, by the way, is what you gave up for him in the first place. Smart teams. Smart teams do smart things.
Held on to Darius Slay.
Which is still weird to me.
Held on to James
We're cutting
Bradbury.
Darius Slay. Oh, by the way, the printer was broken, and we changed our minds overnight.
Fletcher Cox still in the building. Brandon Graham still in the building. I got to give you your flowers for keeping the band together as much as you did. Were you going to lose some pieces? Yeah, but you also made sure that this is, still a Super Bowl contending team next year.
Bob Brown in the YouTube comment said the Eagles are a B. I would have said they were a B until I started looking at the contracts, going all of your commitments are in the next 2 years. There's nothing that extends past that.
No.
And that's how I got them to a B+.
You can reset the decks. You can reset the decks in a couple of years and let, what's his name? Howie Roseman continue to do what he does. He already tore this thing, quote unquote, tore it down once. It wasn't really a full tear down. But you see where they're at. They were in cap hell 3 years ago. And now they were just in a Super Bowl and looking to threaten for a second Super Bowl appearance this coming year.
Then I had 3 Bs. These are just very solid. I like what you did. I don't necessarily think you signed anybody that's greatly impactful, but for different reasons. The Seattle Seahawks,
Mm-hmm.
you took all of the needs off the board. So you added all of the things that you needed, and now you are not, I have to get an interior guy. I have to get an edge. I have to get a linebacker. I just go get the best player.
Mm-hmm.
I got gifted an extra first-round pick here for a quarterback. Let's just be honest, is not really good. And I wound up in a trade, the greatest trade heist in NFL history, and now I can just take the best player on the board. So for me, that's a solid B from Seattle. I don't necessarily love any of these players, but I think they can be nice rotational pieces.
Any chance of a reclamation for Devin Bush in Seattle?
I always hated his fit in Pittsburgh. I hated it. If you remember, that was the first draft we ever did. And the minute they drafted him, I went, you're not going to love that you just did that, because he's whittle. So could he have that in Seattle? Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily count on it. There's a possibility of it.
Okay.
The Washington Commanders, I think they're a solid B, because now I can go into the first round at 16 and take the best player on the board. I added the lineman. I added a corner. Again, a B for me basically means I can now go into the draft and just get the best player available. There's no aggressive need.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one's the Miami Dolphins. David Long is still my favorite signing of the offseason. You got one of the best off-ball 3-4 linebackers in the league for $5.5 million.
Plus, you added Jalen Ramsey in a trade.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
I was going to say, you got to.
I buried the lead.
You don't have
there.
to love that one, but you got to like that.
And you also got Mike White, which is the future of your franchise. $8 million a year.
I just got one more that I feel like they've done pretty well in the offseason. It's the Minnesota Vikings.
See, I'm not as wild about that one.
They cut loose Adam Thielen. I get the Carolina Panthers paid him too much, but, it is what it is. Adding Marcus Davenport, re-signing Garrett Bradbury, who's not as bad as some people want to make him out to be. Byron Murphy, I thought, was a good addition to the secondary.
And I'm going to say the same thing about Minnesota that I've said about Carolina. I feel like you paid 130% for every player you added. And I'm not sure that you're in better shape at any of these positions.
Who were the losers of free agency so far? We'll talk about them up next here in the Sportsocracy, as well as we'll get a little weird.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
A little milder for us here as we head through midweek, but quite a bit warmer looking ahead to the end of the business week. Cold again tonight, though, mainly clear skies, temperatures into the mid-20s. Mix of clouds and sunshine for tomorrow. Afternoon highs in the middle to upper 50s with a bit of a south to southeast breeze. Cloudy skies on Wednesday with a stray shower or two possible. Temperatures in the upper 50s. Mix of clouds and sun upper 70s Thursday, Friday. I'm Ken Boone with the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue due to an accident. 26 westbound is stop and go in the Mountain Home area approaching Hendersonville Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound light delays between Brevard Road and the French Broad River. Near Bent Creek, Brevard Road north and southbound stop and go between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Brevard Road southbound then stop and go between Clayton Road and Long Shoals Road. Brevard Road on the northbound side stop and go between Glen Bridge Road and Long Shoals Road. Hendersonville Road northbound in Fletcher stop and go approaching Fanning Bridge Road. Again, Hendersonville Road northbound is stop and go between Haywood Road and Long Shoals Road. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road, is stop and go. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. Hurry into Jackson Hewitt for 50% off tax prep, but do it before April 9th. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max savings $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
When emergencies strike, firefighters are there to stand strong and answer the call. Start or continue a high-octane and rewarding career with the Hendersonville Fire Department. HFD offers competitive pay, fantastic benefits, and the foundation for a meaningful work-life balance. If you value integrity, service to your community, and working with a professional team, apply today. Now hiring full-time and part-time Hendersonville firefighter EMT positions. Unlock your best life at www.hvlnc.gov/jobs. Live here, serve here.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It's time to get weird here on a Monday afternoon in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. And we had last weekend in Florida, shocker of shockers.
Weird tends to come out of Florida.
Yeah. We had a rock and roll legend who was attacked. Did you hear this story?
I did, but I don't remember who it was.
Last weekend, at a casino in South Florida. It does not say which casino in South Florida, but there was an all-time great rock band that was performing at the casino. It's probably like the Hard Rock, and it was Def Leppard. And Def Leppard drummer Rick Allen was attacked smoking a cigarette outside of the casino. So he steps outside to smoke a cig, and then all of a sudden, he's getting picked on by a 19-year-old kid from Cleveland who's in town on spring break. And this 19-year-old kid, his name is Max Hartley, he apparently just randomly picked Rick out of the crowd and bowled him over, forcing him to the ground. He hit his head on the ground and released a statement yesterday. This is why I'm bringing this up again. Released a statement yesterday saying that I'm really focusing on healing right now. And actually, he said he had a lot of buzzwords in his statement that made me think there's no way that a 1980s rocker wrote this statement. Since we ask you to join us, since we ask you to join us in our effort to move from the confusion and shock to compassion and empathy, we understand that this act of violence can be triggering for so many people.
Was that written by the kid that did it? Because that sounds like it came from a 19-year-old.
Says he also went on to say that he is obviously focusing on his recovery in a safe space. Okay, all right. But Rick Allen sent to the ground by this 19-year-old. There was a woman that came to help poor Rick up off the ground. She, too, was attacked by the 19-year-old who knocked her to the ground. He jumped on her, started punching her in the face, grabbed her by the hair, drug her outside of the casino, and then he fled on foot. They did find him. They did arrest him. There is no word on whether drugs or alcohol played a role. That's what a lie sounds like. And when interviewed, Max Hartley said, no, it wasn't me. It was the one-armed man.
Wait. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Rick Allen, drummer for Def Leppard.
He has one arm.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of that.
Yeah.
So he blamed it on the guy that it happened to. There are a slew of people that were born between, I don't know, let me just do some soft math in my head, 1999 and now. The 80s would have broken you into a million pieces.
100%.
I'm just throwing that out there. Speaking of things that could break you, we have what could be a terrifying, ghastly shortage.
Not gas shortage.
No, it's not a gas
Ghastly.
shortage. Don't go to a gas station and start filling up gas cans. It's not a gas shortage. It is a ghastly shortage.
Okay.
This could directly affect my soon-to-be wife. It's a shortage on tequila.
Oh, no.
Apparently, a combination of bad weather and high demand. I love that they said high demand like 8 times in an AP story. Could create a disaster of a situation. The quote says, global demand for tequila has been on the high side during the past few years, which has increased the need for large agave harvests to fulfill the demand.
Okay.
Participation. Sorry, you started talking about millennials and participation. Immediately gets in my head. Precipitation totals across much of the country have been less than 25% of normal, with large sections having totals less than 10 and 5% of normal. These are extremely low, and in many cases, record-setting over this long period of time. Now, here's what that means. The agave harvests are not what they need to be to satiate the need for development of tequila. All right. I survived the TP crisis of 2020. I have survived many, many fuel shortages. If you start working on my alcohol, we're going to have a problem. All right? Because if Jeremy doesn't have his choices of purveyances, I can become quite hostile quite quickly. Okay? I've long said I have a 4-pronged diet. It's the Jeremy food pyramid. Protein, nicotine, alcohol, and anger.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're taking one of the 4 tenets away.
Well, I mean, just because there's a shortage of tequila doesn't mean it's going to affect the Fireball
I don't want a shortage of anything,
bro.
okay? Because I might have a wild hair and decide I want a margarita on Taco Tuesday, and I'm going to need that to be there. And I'm going to need it to not be $27, all right?
You're pretty sure it's not going to go away.
It sounds like it could be a very daunting next year or two.
Possibly.
And as somebody that procures a decent quantity of this, I'm tired of paying 170% of what things are worth. What am I, the Carolina Panthers? Sorry. Okay, all right, I'm done. I got one last one in. Make them laugh.
Free agency period has gone pretty well for some teams. We talked about those at the top half of this hour, and now it's time to talk about the ones that it hasn't gone all that well for. I mean, they think they're out here doing stuff. But
I've
but
always
are you
looked
really?
at teams that wind up on this list going, how did you walk away? You set up the off-season plan, and this is what you came away with. Who's your biggest loser? Several of mine, I'm going to get accused of being a homer, so I'd see it coming.
Mine's the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay, that was one of mine.
To me, they are the overall loser. And it's not really that I hate all of their players. It's just because I don't like this team, and I don't like their coach. One of the saving graces for this team was Derek Carr. And you got rid of him for why I still am not real clear on. And then you brought in Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Myers.
I like the Jacoby Myers thing.
I hate it.
I don't know why.
Because here's why. Where did Josh McDaniels come from?
New England.
What does every New England disciple try to do when they go to a new place?
Recreate New England. But I feel like Jacoby Myers doesn't fall into that. That's the one signing they made that I don't mind.
Nah.
I feel like Marcus Epps was the worst player on that Philadelphia defense, and you went, hey, he was on a good team. Let's bring him here for a mess of money. Robert Spillane.
$4 million.
Same thing. That's $4 was too much. Okay. If you had given him the change out of your pocket, you did it wrong.
It's just hot. So the shocker, the Patriots guy brings in Patriots guys, and guess what's going to happen? In a year, maybe 2 years, he's going to be on the unemployment line.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt about it. I cannot for the life of me figure out.
I wouldn't do it for the optics. Just for the optics.
I cannot for the life of me figure out how a group of people looked around and went, Derek Carr is our problem. And then they looked at Jimmy Garoppolo and went, that's the solution. Have you ever seen that meme of the old man wearing the red striped shirt and he holds up his Christmas present and it is the exact same red striped shirt? I feel like that's what Josh McDaniels and this entire brain trust have been doing all offseason long. Look, we fixed it. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. That was not my biggest loser. And I know I'm going to catch some flack for this because I'm always accused of being a homer.
Mm-hmm.
It's the New England Patriots is not really all that close.
Really?
What move do you feel good about? What that New England has done? All right, so just let me walk you through this. You had offensive line problems. So you let Isaiah win. He goes off in the sunset. You signed Calvin Anderson and Riley Reif. Two guys that one that couldn't play for the Bears. And you just feel like, do you feel good? Are you looking around now going, that's done? Juju Smith-Schuster, who has regressed every single year he's been in the league. I mean, he was fine-ish in Kansas City, but do you look at him in this offense and go, that fixed it?
No.
I re-referenced the same thing I said about Josh McDaniels. Hey, we let Jacoby Myers go. Cool. We got him on Wish. And his name is Juju Smith-Schuster. He has a TikTok. He dances on it. First of all, the thought of Juju Smith-Schuster and Bill Belichick being in the same room makes me so happy. I cannot wait for the first time he does a TikTok on the field and Bill's brain just goes poof.
A little personality conflict.
Bill's angry in our YouTube comments. I mean, do you feel good right now? Honestly, just take the fact that I'm a Jets fan away from it. Do you really look at this and go, oh, yeah, we're doing stuff?
Jonathan Jones was a good retention.
Don't disagree.
So
that was your own
that's
guy.
A plus.
I'm talking about the guys you brought in. All right, so first of all, Bill's obsession with tight ends is just dumbfounding to me. In the best tight end draft we've had in my lifetime, you went, no, let's go give $9 million to Mike Gesicki, who has the same problem in New England he had in Miami.
I was gonna say he wasn't going to draft one high, and the last time he drafted two guys in the fourth round, everybody thought he was high. So, of course, he's not in it for the tight end draft stock.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Running a lot of 12 personnel with Mike Gesicki and Hunter Henry.
Two tight ends that can't block.
It's going to be so much fun. And you added James Robinson, just another of, if you ever thought there was ever going to be a fantasy-relevant New England running back, they're never going to give you that.
All right, if you're calling me a homer and I'm seeing several people in the chatter that, the Jets win the draft again and New England loses free agency and the Jets get swept. Okay. Aaron Rodgers with the Jets against this Patriots roster. You're really telling me that you think that's better?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you do, that's fine, but I'm going to need the explanation. I don't understand how you look at this and go, no, you're in the exact same boat you were in last year. You're 7-10, 8. I'll put it this way. Without knowing what they do in the draft, because frankly, I don't care. I will bet you anything you want, anything to a charity of your choosing, that you go 7-10, 8-9, or 9-8. I won't even go worse because I don't think you're worse than that. You're going to hit one of those three things for the third year in a row. Awesome. Mm-hmm. So you're the 9th best team in the AFC. Why do I care? Why do I care? Oh, wait, that's right. I don't. And you're the worst team in your division. It's not even kind of close.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll sweep the Jets. Okay. That and $1 will get you a Coke. Or a cookie, depending on which part of the meal you're trying to.
All right, other losers. Go ahead and say it.
Oh, it's your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I can't figure that out to save my life.
What the plan is? The plan is that there is no plan. We don't know. We don't know. Like,
I can't. The thing with you that I don't understand, you re-sign the better corner at the top of his market, and you let Sean Murphy Bunting go for a bag of footballs.
It's the same thing they did last year with Jordan Whitehead.
I don't get it.
Jordan Whitehead was a good player for this team. You let him walk out the door to the New York Jets for the same amount of money, wasn't it? $4 million. Yep.
Can I say something about Tampa Bay, and you tell me if I'm wrong?
Okay.
Because I'm trying to be as objective as I can here. I feel like Tom Brady was a great big Band-Aid on one of the dumber organizations in this league.
Absolutely.
And if you take Tom out, I could do the same thing with New England. But you know what? I've already gone to that. But I feel like if you take the Tom thing out, this is really probably the worst run organization in the NFL.
Exactly. That's why it made the most sense in the world for it to be Tom Brady, or to go to do the deal with Tom Brady. You needed to be relevant for once, and he gave you that. Mm-hmm. You had a nice little team that had a few weapons on it. He wanted to come. It made all the sense in the world. We knew how this was going to go. We knew this was going to be 2, maybe 3 years of relevancy. And then it's going to go right back to being Tampa Bay Buccaneers football, where you suck year in and year out. You're destined to do that. This offseason, I threw my hands up at the trade deadline and said, just trade everybody. Jason Light just needs to get what he can out of these guys and move on and rebuild into something. And you didn't do that in the offseason. You went and spent big on Jamel Dean. You brought Levante David back, and I get that's the heritage move. Awesome. Maybe he'll stay here and be a Buck forever. Well, but at this point, you're just setting money on fire.
Well, and I don't. This is going to sound like I'm speaking on both sides of my mouth, and I'm really not. I don't so much care about the money. I care about the end result. You can spend every dollar your owner has ever had if you're getting somewhere. I guess that's the problem that I have with every one of these teams I've said. Are you significantly better right now than you were when you started?
No.
I'm okay with that if you got younger. Bill Buttigieg asked, what have the Jets done this offseason that makes you feel better? Nothing. They got a year older. That's it. And that's my point. I'm a draft guy. So I look at a young roster that gets a year better. I'm looking at all these teams that I have just said, going, you didn't get younger, you got more expensive, and I don't think you got any better. Mm-hmm. And it seems like it's the same 8 to 10 teams that we do this with every single year. And the outcome tends to be very much the same.
Yep. Also, of course, Tampa Bay Buccaneers famously giving Baker Mayfield, $3.9 million more than he was worth.
And we will have a Let's Bake framed Twitter from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that's in the studio by the end of the week.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving stop and go 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound in the Mountain Home area is stop and go approaching Hendersonville Road. Again, 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near the Bent Creek area, Boulevard Road north and southbound very busy between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Clayton Road. Again, Boulevard Road southbound stop and go between Clayton Road and Long Shoals Road. Boulevard Road on the northbound side stop and go between Glen Bridge Road and Long Shoals Road. In the Fletcher area, Hendersonville Road northbound stop and go approaching Fanning Bridge Road. Hendersonville Road northbound again stop and go between Sycamore Drive and Mills Gap Road. Sweeten Creek Road northbound stop and go between Carrington Place and Mills Gap Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. 2 for $6, the best deal in fast food. When you want the best deal on the best meal, choose Wendy's 2 for $6. Pick from Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, 10-piece Crispy Nugs, or a medium strawberry lemonade. Pair any two for just $6. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for $6.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale starts now with limited quantity deals on select performance PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Save on select essential accessories, plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Hi, I'm Michelle Obama, and in my new Audible original podcast, I'll be talking with some very special guests about issues that affect all of us, like overcoming self-doubt, building support systems, and being there for others. It's all about kindling the flame inside of you so that we can meet the challenges life throws our way and steady ourselves in uncertain times. I hope you'll get as much insight from these conversations as I did. Listen to the Light Podcast on Audible.
All the radio stations you love, every playlist to match your mood, the podcasts that everyone's talking about. If it's on the iHeartRadio app, it's free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, talking about free agency winners and losers. Can we go back and add one to the Las Vegas Raiders, another F+ on their board? They just signed O.J. Howard as the replacement to Darren Waller.
I'm reasonably sure O.J. Howard has naked pictures of Roger Goodell or somebody. Because nobody's watching him and going, yeah! I mean, I did when he came into the draft. And then I watched him play, in the NFL, and he's never been good at it.
No.
He has one game a year.
Mm-hmm. Even last year when he was just gone from sight in Houston, he had one game where he had two touchdowns.
Let's go. Then how many do you have the rest of the year?
0. It is the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Sports Center update is next, and then it'll be time for the daily draft. Stock up, stock down from the weekend.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
A little milder for us here as we head through midweek, but quite a bit warmer looking ahead to the end of the business week. Cold again tonight, though. Mainly clear skies, temperatures into the mid-20s. Mix of clouds and sunshine for tomorrow. Afternoon highs in the middle to upper 50s with a bit of a south to southeast breeze. Cloudy skies on Wednesday with a stray shower or two possible. Temperatures in the upper 50s. Mix of clouds and sun upper 70s Thursday, Friday. I'm Ken Boone with the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving stop and go 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound in the Mountain Home area is stop and go approaching Hendersonville Road. Again, 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near the Bent Creek area, Boulevard Road north and southbound very busy between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Clayton Road. Again, Boulevard Road southbound stop and go between Clayton Road and Long Shoals Road. Boulevard Road on the northbound side stop and go between Glen Bridge Road and Long Shoals Road. In the Fletcher area, Henderson Hendersonville Road northbound, stop and go, approaching Fanning Bridge Road. Hendersonville Road northbound again, stop and go between Sycamore Drive and Mills Gap Road. Sweeten Creek Road northbound, stop and go between Carrington Place and Mills Gap Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound, stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. If cold candidate calls aren't turning into hot hiring leads, then you need Indeed. Because Indeed's powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates all from one place. Find your next great hire visiting Indeed.com/credit.
Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A. Copyright 2023.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Reports NFL owners expected to finalize a multi-year extension for Commissioner Roger Goodell at next week's owners' meetings. It will likely be the most lucrative deal given to any commissioner in any sport. One less team in the Odell Beckham Jr. sweepstakes. Cowboys likely out of the competition for the free agent receiver after acquiring receiver Brandon Cooks. OBJ, who's suffered 2 ACL tears in his career, needs to think short-term, advises Canty and Carlin co-host Chris Canty.
It's not about you landing a long-term contract to secure your financial future. Based on what we've seen from you in the injury history over the last couple of years, that's going to be a tough ask for any team. Right now, it's about positioning yourself to get to free agency and have more leverage in 2024, and that's finding the best fit where you can be a productive player on a winning team.
Chris Canty on Greene. Hall of Famer Iona basketball coach Rick Pitino has agreed on a 6-year deal to become the next coach at St. John's. He's only the only coach to lead 3 programs to the Final Four and 1 national titles with Kentucky and Louisville.
Need to spring back into hiring season? You need Indeed, the smart hiring platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Post a job and hire ASAP. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, and we are seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat. We are live, as always, here in the Ingles Studio, 3rd hour of the program, and it's time for the daily draft. Stock up, stock down from the weekend. Jeremy Greene, where do we start?
That would be with me,
Okay.
and this is one of the happiest times that I have ever had the first pick. Because it's a non-football topic. And to me, it is no doubt they're the biggest winner of the weekend.
Okay.
It is St. John's basketball. Rick Pitino. Yes, he's 70. Yes, there were some less than ideal things that happened at Louisville, which apparently he was non-culpable for. It took him 5 years to come out and say that.
Mm-hmm.
In college basketball, the name of the game is being interesting. And St. John's and Georgetown have always been 2 of those schools that never made any sense to me. St. John's is centered in New York City. Georgetown is centered in Washington, D.C. That is 2 hotbeds of basketball, probably the 2 best basketball cities in the country. How are your schools this bad at basketball?
Mm-hmm.
Now you bring in a name, and would it shock you if St. John's was really, really, really good in a year? He did it at Iona.
It would a little bit. I mean, were they really, really good at Iona? I mean,
they got a
for
13 seed out of the I don't even remember what conference it is.
Is that the MEAC?
It's one of those. There's like 5 conferences that have MAC in the name, and it's one of those.
Or is that the MAAC?
I think it's the MAAC.
The Metro Atlantic.
Look, I'll just tell you how I see this going. He's going to come in. I feel very sure he said, we're going to have to come up with a whole mess of NIL money.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any other sports that are legitimate. So this is where all the money goes. You want me, this is where all of the money of this program goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to bring you a winner. I can't tell you I'm going to bring you a national title, but they gave him a 6-year deal at 70 years old.
Yeah. I mean, I think national title talk is far-fetched for this team.
I don't in any way.
You think Rick Pitino's going to be able to
How many name
recruit?
coaches are there left in college basketball?
That's true.
Rick Pitino's one of, 5?
Mm-hmm.
Tom Izzo, who's in his 60s. Bill Self, who just had a massive health scare. I mean, there's just not that many guys left.
You got Mark Few.
Mark Few, who's at Gonzaga.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, yeah, I get that they get players, but all right, I could go play. Ask yourself this. I can go play for Mark Few in Spokane, Washington, or I can go play for Rick Pitino in New York City. Which one's more attractive to you?
Yeah, but one gets a lot more pub than the other one. That's the problem. Is the one that's out in the middle of nowhere.
And you don't think that's going to change now?
Oh, I'm sure it will. I'm sure you'll get some coverage, but I don't know if
I'll give you a point of comparison. I heard Peter King say this morning. He was talking about the Jets with Aaron Rodgers and primetime games. So they got to get as many as 11 primetime games with Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think that same thing's going to happen with Rick Pitino at St. John's?
Yeah,
you don't
probably.
think in that Saturday CBS slate you're going to see a whole mess of the Red Storm?
Maybe.
Tell me how it doesn't happen. And if you're CBS and you're looking at, I need to sell the sponsors, I'm going to get eyeballs on what I do. Which one do you think draws more? We could have Creighton and Xavier, or I can have Rick Pitino against who cares?
Against who cares?
I mean, honestly, that was a legit question.
I get it's a flashy name, but my question is, do you think that he's going to be able to have them at the top of the Big East in a matter of 6-7 months?
Yes.
Okay. And if you still believe that, then it's fine. That's all worth it. Like, I just don't know if him going to St. John's is going to be the big get that everybody thinks it is. At this point,
explain to me how it's not. He's won everywhere he's ever been.
Okay. At this point, I mean, you talk about this all the time with college basketball players that want to go play for somebody they know. I mean, is Rick Pitino still in that A-frame?
Who do you know? I mean, honestly, who do you know?
Mm-hmm.
I could go play for John Shire, who just got absolutely annihilated by Rick Barnes. Got literally embarrassed by Rick Barnes.
But
that's
still
Hubert
more about
Davis,
the name on the jersey than it is about the coach.
And I got that. You're underselling New York City.
Mm-hmm.
This is the
of course
mecca
I am, because
of basketball.
it's always been worthless when it comes to college basketball.
It wasn't well, it's been worthless here lately because you've had a lot of Mike Jarvis and Chris Mullen. I mean, yeah, those are.
I was going to say we could go back
names.
to the Community College of New York days back in the 30s.
Yeah, you're underselling that. I'm trying to get to ESPN's top 100 of recruits. It will shock you how many of them are within shouting distance of here.
Mm-hmm.
St. John's, I wouldn't have even listened to you 24 hours ago. Now, I can't wait for you to call.
Yep.
Because I get to play in Madison Square Garden. Or I could play for the Iowa Hawkeyes in the We Love Corn Dome. Nope. Yeah, right. I think Rick Pitino's going to win that 100 times out of 100.
Is this Rick Pitino being able to restart another program at 70 years of age and carry them to national prominence? Or is this another national championship coach that moves on to a lesser program and it's just kind of okay?
Yeah, it's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
There you go.
A. B. He was 27-8 at Iona, which is one of the least funded schools in the country. Yeah, I think he'll be just fine at St. John's.
Yep.
I'll be honest with you. I'll make a bet with you right now. St. John's in a Sweet 16. in the next 2 years. Because you get to this point where, all right, let's just say that I'm not saying he's going to recruit talent to the level of a Duke, but you get into a game, I'll use what just happened. I get into a game, you've got a slew of freshmen. I've gone into the transfer portal and gotten all these guys that fit exactly how I want to play in New York City. Game comes down to the line. There's 5 minutes left. It's St. John's and Duke. I have Rick Pitino. You have John Shire. Who's going to win? I just watched Rick Barnes beat him sideways with one big guy that was in foul trouble the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because Rick Barnes is a real good coach. And John Shire is probably not. But he's a name, and he can recruit, and that's the name of the game in college basketball now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said if I was Georgetown, I would have called Rick Pitino and said, I do not care what it costs. I will give you any amount of money you want because you will make me a brand, and then I will be able to replace you 5 years from now with somebody that will actually take my job. Yep. Instead, and I love Ed Cooley, there is a big difference between those two hires.
All right, Jeremy goes stock up for St. John's, landing Rick Pitino as their next head coach. Give him a 6-year deal at 70 years old. So that will be his final stop.
No doubt.
We have no doubts about that, right? I'm going stock down for the weekend. I enjoyed the basketball tournament Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was all great. Stock down, though, for the Blue Bloods. It's a bad look. It's just a bad look for college basketball that you don't have the big names, the big brands that are involved in this. Between North Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, and Kansas, none of those teams are going to be in the Sweet 16 this year. This is the second time that it's happened in the last 3 years, which is unbelievable to me. But you go back all the way to 1980, yeah, it's also happened only twice. The last 3 years is the only two times that none of those teams have been involved in the Sweet 16. And it does take away something for it. Look,
no doubt. Well, you had the highest rated first round you've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a little bias because you put streaming numbers in it, and I could go off on that for 10 minutes. But you're going to have the lowest rated second weekend ever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, North Carolina doing the least of all of those because they didn't even make the tournament. But Kentucky getting bounced in the second round, Duke and Kansas all out in the second round. It's just not – it's not great for college basketball.
By the way, can I have 30 seconds here as a non-Carolina, non-Duke fan?
Yes.
Your diatribes at each other on social media is about the most insufferable thing I see on a daily basis. You are both bad
Mm-hmm.
at different times this year.
Mm-hmm.
Duke had about a month run where they were good. And I would say it was not predictable that you were going to get bounced the way you did, except I predictabled it. And I got a slew of messages. You don't understand. No, I do. Infinitely better than you think I do. And none of it surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
And your little pee-pee contests of, well, we at least made the tournament. Yep. And with Sweet 16 happening, you're sitting in the exact same spot.
Yep.
Congratulations. I'm sure that banner in Duke that says, we made it. I'm sure that'll look great in Cameron.
Right. I felt bad. I told Jeremy when I first got here today, this weekend was the worst I've felt as a Tar Heel fan in a long time. And it had nothing to do with the fact that we weren't in the tournament. I mean, a little bit. You obviously want to enjoy the tournament knowing that your team has a chance to play for something. But it was the reaction on social media that I saw from Tar Heel fans, like laughing at Duke fans and laughing at every ACC team that lost, and Kansas and Kentucky. And guys,
I mean, do you
we're
love
better
the sport
than this,
or not?
right? Like,
do you love the sport or not? Because if you love the sport, you want it to at least be halfway interesting. You now have a Sweet 16 that is eye broccoli. All right, I have a copious amount of money on Creighton. Tank knows vaguely how much it is. Please do not disclose that on air. That's the only reason I care. If they get bounced by Princeton, you mark my words, I won't watch another second because I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing about what is left that is really drawing me in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the crowds in some of these games, it is shocking how poorly attended they were because there's no names here.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do the one and done thing, you have to survive on the name on the front of the jersey because you can't survive by the name on the back.
You cannot root for the Blue Bloods all you want to. I'm not even talking about Carolina fans need to be on board with Duke or whoever moving on in the tournament. Just don't celebrate when they get kicked out. You didn't even make it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, where are you coming from with this?
It is one of the weakest things I see of, oh, look, Duke got beat. Yeah, and you've been playing golf for a week.
Right.
And by the way, vice versa. Well, at least we made it. Yeah, and you survived 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could survive that in the desert without a canteen. So congratulations that you –
The team that looked at the NIT and said, you know what, we're good. We don't need to play in that. And everybody called it, oh, that's just Carolina arrogance. Yes, this program is better than that. And the fans should be better than celebrating the losses of our rivals when we didn't even make the tournament.
Yep.
Ugh.
No disagreement from me there.
All right, now I'm going stock up. I may get some backlash for this, but I don't really care because the name's on the door. Stock up for Charlotte Hornets fans. Look, I know that you love Michael Jordan. I know that he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. Basketball player. He's probably the worst all-time owner in NBA history, which is not true. It's hyperbole.
I was
We're moving
about
on.
to say I have 7 off the top of my head.
I'm just saying this ain't been good since it started, folks. I get that you love MJ, and there was all these pie-in-the-sky dreams about MJ's going to bring in the big names. We're a destination now. Everybody's going to want to play with the Jordan brand and blah, 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 blah. He brought nothing of that.
I can shoot down anybody that gets angry about that in one sentence. Did you go?
No.
Oh, okay. And trust me, I've seen a lot of that. Of, this is not good for Charlotte. Did you go to the games?
No.
Because, trust me, it's not real hard to find their games on League Pass, which we have through DC Streams. You can message us and we'll let you know how to do that. It's not hard to look around and go, oh, wow, when Philadelphia shows up, the building is full. And when the Sacramento Kings show up, it's empty.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why that could possibly happen.
Michael Jordan is selling off his majority stake in the Charlotte Hornets. He's going to make a boatload of money.
Mm-hmm.
So I fully get it. Like, he doesn't want to do this anymore. He doesn't want to take the heat for putting bad team after bad team after bad team out there. Just failures at every level of the hiring process.
At Sports Think ESPN.
Sorry. I get there are Tar Heel fans who really love Mitch Kupchak, but he's a crap GM. Has always been and will forever be. Buzz Peterson. I know there are people listening to this radio station right now who knew Buzz Peterson and went to high school with Buzz Peterson. Look, I'm not saying anything against the guy as a Tar Heel or an Asheville High Cougar or whatever. That guy ain't getting it done in the front office either. Rich Cho was a disaster. Steve Clifford has been an abject disaster. Oh, wait, you went back to Steve Clifford after you failed experiment with James Borrego. And then you look at every draft pick that we've made since 2006 just squat in a toilet and tell me this is an NBA franchise.
I feel like we touched a nerve.
Sorry. I'm just so sick of the excuses for the Charlotte Hornets franchise. Oh, no, well, we got MJ. Things will get better. When will they get better? We've been doing this for 12 years now. Actually, longer than that.
See, and that, boys and girls, is what a really angry fan sounds like.
Right. So the fact that Michael Jordan has given up his majority stake in the Charlotte Hornets franchise, the only thing that tells me is that even he's tapped out on this loser.
I wouldn't go that far.
And maybe if we
got to
bring
understand
in
what he's getting ready to make on this.
And I get
You'll make
it.
$1 billion on
He bought
it.
He bought his controlling interest for $275 million, and he's going to sell it for 1.6 at least.
Yep.
So he's made a boatload of money. Good for him.
It's a smart
he's a
business
hell of a
decision.
businessman.
It's a smart
Always
business
been a hell of a businessman. Not a good basketball GM. Can we just forget he ever owned a team? And hopefully one day the Charlotte Hornets will be a decent team in this league, a respectable team in this league, and we can all look back and go, oh, yeah, it wasn't the greatest of all time that made that happen.
In the break, we're gonna get the old blood pressure cuff out of the closet and make sure that Tank is going to remain with us for the rest of the show.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue due to an accident. Future 26 eastbound, stop and go between Riverside Drive and 240. 26 westbound, stop and go between Fanning Bridge Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near the NC Arboretum, Brevard Road north and southbound, delays between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. In the Arden area, Hendersonville Road northbound is stop and go between Arden and Long Shoals Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road busy. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that, and that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home when it's time to buy. Visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
And if the train has to roll on without the goat, I'm fine.
Was that therapeutic for you?
It was.
You broke the blood pressure cuff.
It felt really good to get that out.
We don't have a way to check that anymore, so you can go through a peak. And
Yeah, it is the daily draft here in the Sportsocracy. We started it out. Jeremy with the first pick, stock up, stock down from the weekend. He goes stock up for St. John's as they are hiring Rick Pitino as their new head men's basketball coach. Then I went stock down for the Blue Bloods in college basketball. Duke, Carolina, obviously didn't even make the tournament. Kansas, Kentucky. You had, I guess you could also kind of lump in the higher seeds that lost this weekend, but dare I anyone ever call Purdue a blue blood?
they are a blue blood at getting beaten by just nobodies.
And I went stock down for the Blue Bloods in college basketball. Stock up for Charlotte Hornets fans is Michael Jordan calling it quits as the owner. I like it.
Well, I'm going to do a tandem stock up, stock down. Just stock up for the PGA Tour, stock down for the Live Tour. If you had told me going into this whole little experiment that a Taylor Moore Adam Schenk final at the Valspar would absolutely eviscerate a Live tournament with Sergio Garcia, Louis Oosthuizen, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, all these names, they would get them all, and nobody would care.
No.
I never saw this coming. I really didn't. I thought that it would at least get the eyeballs because of how the schedule is. These are done on Saturday, so I'm not competing with you on Sunday. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I mean, this is I've never seen something peak this quickly, and now I cannot figure out how there's not a – I mean, how long do you do this where you're just hemorrhaging
But my
money?
question is, did it ever peak? Did it ever have
It was at least
enough
interesting,
eyeballs?
and it elicited you to talk about it. And then it was like the offseason happened, and then nobody cared. No. They do a terrible job of promoting themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
I could not even tell you when or where they're playing.
And I feel like now that the PGA is just sitting back waiting for the day that this comes unglued and all these guys have to come back.
Absolutely. Because that's exactly where this is going to go.
Because the PGA now has to do nothing. I mean, in a tournament where, yes, you had Jordan Spieth, I could argue there wasn't another player in the top 10 that the average golfer, I mean, Tommy Fleetwood, he's kind of faded away in the last couple of years. Outside of that, you wouldn't know, the common golf fan would not know a name. Didn't matter. Smoked it. I mean, I'm talking 50 times.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong on this because you are the golf guy way more than I am. Is it not because they're playing for something that you know? Like you know where this product's going to be. You know every weekend where it's going to be. It's going to be on CBS. I know where I'm going. And they're tournaments I've heard of. They're trophies that I'm invested in, rightfully or wrongly. The LIV thing, I don't know where they're going to be week to week. I don't know what time to tune in to the CW. I don't even know where the CW is on my television. And I'm just not interested in this group play bracket thing.
I think they were on to something with doing that. You get names. Here's where they undervalued it. And I got to give the PGA credit here because they saw this coming long before I did. The green jacket still matters. The PGA still matters. The U.S. Open, the British Open, all of these things that you know, the consistency of what I know, that's what sells. They figured out from the beginning, it doesn't matter who the names are. We've done this for years. Yes, at the high side, we had Tiger Woods. There was also a low side where we had a lot of David Duvals. And guess what? People still watched it. Because we have the tradition, we have all of those things, and you have none of that. And what people have basically said is that in short order with their eyeballs, I don't care about your random live golf tournament at the Gallery Golf Club in Tucson, Arizona, which nobody outside of me has ever heard of. No, I want to see you play at Augusta, and I want to see you play at Sawgrass, and that's what I want. Like, if I'm going to consume golf, that's what I'm after. I don't care who the names are. And so, yes, I feel like Live is on its official, no doubt, death spiral. You can't lose this kind of money. Do you know what the purse was this week?
Oh, no clue.
Take a stab at it. And I'll give you a point of comparison. The Valspar's purse was $8.1 million.
14.3.
25.
Whoa.
It's $25 million, and nobody watched it.
That's all because we don't care.
Exactly.
We don't care how much money these guys are playing for. I don't care if you can win 17 times as much as you can win on the PGA Tour by winning a random, third week event. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't change the golf for me.
Correct. And it's I got to give the PGA credit. They saw it coming before I did.
Yeah.
They figured out, all right, take the biggest stars away. We'll just replenish it. And they have. And they have done that. So I feel like this was a short weekend, and we've ranted on about our first three. So I feel like we could just go one more stock up, stock down for you.
Okay.
And probably call this thing
so
pretty.
we're gonna call that two choices for you: PGA up, LIV down.
And I got Rick Pitino, so I already feel like I've won this.
Oh, well, okay, all right. I'll chop some off here, and let's go.
You can take two for all I care.
Well, I gotta mention it because he's one of my favorite college basketball coaches. It's Ed Cooley going to Georgetown. The guy goes from Providence, where was that program really good before he got there? No, I mean they had sporadic appearances. I mean
they
that
had
was
the Ed Pinckney, or no, that was Villanova. Providence. Let's see, they had the Rick Pitino years.
They did.
Yeah, that was about all that.
That was about it. Ed Cooley comes in there, and over the last 7 years, 6 times they've made it to the NCAA tournament. He's also won a Big East Conference tournament, and now he's going to Georgetown, which
is such a great coach.
Used to be a big deal. Georgetown hasn't been a thing in college basketball for over 20 years, since Allen Iverson left. I mean, there's been, they made one run at a Final Four. There was the year, 2 years ago, when Patrick Ewing led them to the Big East Championship. Still had a losing record, though, in the regular season.
I just hope whatever they agreed to give him, NIL, whatever the case may be, whatever package enticed him. Because you got to say, Ed Cooley has been flirted with every offseason for about the last half decade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people in the sport know how good a coach he is.
Oh, yeah. He almost got the Michigan job before Juwan Howard got it.
He pulled himself out of it.
Right.
Juwan Howard was the backup call.
Right.
They wanted Ed Cooley, and they should have, because he's a much better coach.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope they come through with whatever they said.
I think they will.
Because they did not support Patrick Ewing. And look, I'm not saying that it would have worked even if they did. I like him. I led the charge of Patrick Ewing should be getting a job. I thought it was an NBA job, not a college job.
Mm-hmm. I feel like there are very few culture builders in college basketball left like Ed Cooley.
There are certain jobs in college basketball, if you can win there, you can win anywhere. Providence is one of those.
Yep. And then I also got to throw this guy some love because I didn't really see this coming on Saturday night as Leon Edwards. Good for you, man. Defending his title against Kamaru Usman at UFC this weekend. The guy came in as an underdog. People thought it was a fluke that he beat Kamaru Usman in the first place, in their last fight. And then he comes in and he looked like the dominant fighter. I got to give him his flowers because now he's a legitimate champ. Now that you've beat Kamaru Usman twice, I think that puts you – I mean, I don't know about pound-for-pound rankings and all that, but, I mean, I think that legitimizes the title.
You have certainly legitimized yourself.
All right, you're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Coming up next, it'll be the most important message of the day.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
A little milder for us here as we head through midweek, but quite a bit warmer looking ahead to the end of the business week. Cold again tonight, though, mainly clear skies, temperatures into the mid-20s. Mix of clouds and sunshine for tomorrow. Afternoon highs in the middle to upper 50s with a bit of a south to southeast breeze. Cloudy skies on Wednesday with a stray shower or two possible. Temperatures in the upper 50s. Mix of clouds and sun upper 70s Thursday, Friday. I'm Ken Boone with the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go. 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound is slow between exit 3 and exit 4A. 26 westbound is stop and go between Fanning Bridge Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound slow between the 26-240 split Malfunction Junction and Smoky Park Highway. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road north and southbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Again, Brevard Road northbound slow between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway near the NC Arboretum. Hendersonville Road northbound is slow between the Arden area and Long Shoals Road. Again, Hendersonville Road delays southbound between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business needs, from quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Join us to celebrate the songs and artists you've loved over the past year.
At our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Hosted by Lenny Kravitz.
With Innovator Award recipient Taylor Swift.
And performances by iHeart Icon Award recipient Pink, Coldplay, Kelly Clarkson, LL Cool J, Keith Urban, Pat Benatar, and Neil Giraldo, Lotto, Money Long, Cody Johnson, and more.
Watch on Fox and listen on iHeartRadio.
Next Monday night at 8 p.m.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on a Monday. It's time for the most important message that you'll hear all day.
Don't do crimes!
Yeah, let's go up to New Hampshire for my story today, where in Seabrook, New Hampshire, 11 a.m. on Saturday morning, officers received a report of a possible explosive device in the Walmarts. Yeah, there was a bomb threat made at the Walmart. They never found anything. And they were trying to connect the pieces of to what was really the deal with this. Oh, well, it turns out that the woman that they caught for this, she made the call into the Walmart because her boyfriend was at the Dick's Sporting Goods across the street, and he was trying to steal stuff, and he apparently had gotten caught and was hiding from the employees of the Dick's Sporting Goods in the dressing room.
It's a formidable plan.
Right. He called her and said, I need a distraction. And she pulled the old oop-de-doop, and she called the Walmart, called in a bomb threat, and police were drawn to that. There's no follow-up on the story of what happened to the boyfriend, whether or not he got away or the distraction worked or what.
Well, I'm going to say that since it's in the story, you probably caught him.
Probably so. The funny part of this story, though, is not that she called in the bomb threat to another store to cover for him who was stealing across the street. The funny part is how she got caught. So when he called her and said, I'm in trouble, she was in an Uber, and she used speakerphone to call the Walmart and call in the bomb threat. So as soon as the driver dropped her off at Walmart, he just hung around. He hung around outside the Walmart, and then when the cops showed up, he goes, hey, I got some information y'all might want to know. She called him on speakerphone in front of the Uber driver.
Now, here's my question. Did she tip the Uber driver that tipped them as to what she had just done? You paid to get caught. Good for you. My story is from the lovely state of Oklahoma. The Dixon Police Department was called around 6:08 on Sunday. And the call was from a woman named Brittany Parker. She had something strange happen. Her neighbor's pet had gotten out and was in her yard.
Okay.
Now, you might be thinking, is this a dog or a cat?
No.
No. Oh, it was her neighbor's pet monkey.
Okay.
So, cops show up. As the officers got out of their patrol vehicle, the monkey jumped on the rear of the vehicle, as you do. The monkey then ran towards the victim. Parker's quote, "He jumped on my back and landed on my head. He started grabbing handfuls of hair and just ripping it out. He then almost ripped my ear completely off my head. Miss Parker now has to have a plastic surgery to have her ear reattached to her head."
Mm-hmm.
The monkey then ran into a wooded area after attacking Parker. And, I mean, this is Oklahoma. And Mr. Monkey, Bubbles, whatever his name is, he was a 10 on the FAFO scale because he came back. He didn't get a second crack at it because people in Oklahoma live by a Jeremy Greene philosophy, which is bang, 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 bang.
Exactly.
So Mr. Monkey did not make it out of this alive. Stop having weird pets that can maul people, okay? Get you a nice kitty cat. Or a not a bird. Don't put a bird in your house. That's like putting an Amazon Alexa in there. Just tell the government everything about your life. Just get a dog. And keep your pets in your own home. Like that, okay?
Does it say what kind of monkey it was?
No. Not that I would have known, even.
I'm just curious. Is this like a chimpanzee, which have been known to rip people's faces off when they get angry?
And now they have had to take the primate's body to the Oklahoma Disease Laboratory for testing because there are just a slew of diseases that monkeys carry that can be very bad for people.
Yeah.
So just, okay, get a Pomeranian and be done with it. They're cute. And you just brush them and they have a little bark.
Uh-huh.
They don't attack anybody. I'll never understand people and their pets. If I live to be 1,000 years old, I'll never get it.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. It is time.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
For breaking news here in the Sportsocracy, what do we got, Jeremy?
This is just a sweet Houston Texans double play from Adam Schefter. The Houston Texans are giving former Buffalo Bills running back Devin Singletary a one-year deal worth up to $3.75 million. But, Tiger, the Texans not done. From Tom Pelissero, the Texans are signing tight end Dalton Schultz to a one-year deal worth up to $9 million.
What is that voice?
I don't know, but now I can't stop doing it.
You went full-on Don Pardo on that one.
Saturday Night Live. Sorry.
Interesting. Okay, that was a new way to go with the breaking news. We appreciate that, though. Yeah, woo. Houston Texans out here doing stuff.
Here's my question. Dalton Schultz. I knew you weren't going back to the Cowboys. I had that because, Mike McCarthy's not real big on the tight ends. Did Kellen Moore just not call? Like, did you look at the Chargers and go, no? You know what I want to do? I want to go play with that Texans team. Is that not the biggest signing they've had in the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Is he the second best player on the team immediately?
Yeah.
Laramie Tunsil, Dalton Schultz. In the message. Repeat the line. Derek Stingley, Jalen Petrie. Yeah, I get it. They're second year.
That little rookie running back that they got.
Oh, Damian Pierce.
Yeah.
He's a running back. And now he's got to share. Now he's got to share touches with Devin Singletary. That'll be fun.
It's just a little insurance move. It's nothing to be alarmed about.
Lisa Evans said that sounded like a mixture of Drunk Bane and the Ringmaster.
Well,
it's ironic you said Drunk Bane because that's basically what Dalton Schultz just said to the world. I was born in the darkness. You merely inherited it.
There will be no light with the Houston Texans, that's for sure. Although
that's what I'm sad that Tom Pelissero didn't end his tweet with that. The Texans are signing Dalton Schultz to a one-year deal worth $9 million, ... and he was never seen or heard from again.
But where else could Dalton Schultz go to be the number one target on his team? That's it. End of message, repeat the line.
I really, and maybe this is the cynic in me. I've done so many drafts now that I try to find my amusement where I can get it. And I feel like we should have a camera on. All right, so Carolina takes whoever they take at 1. Let's say it's C.J. Stroud.
Yes.
I feel like then in the green room, it should be a triple box to go straight NFL Red Zone style. And we have a game show host, and it's Roger Goodell. And it's whose career is over before it starts. With the second pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Bryce Young. And you just see him throw everything like, oh, no! I'd rather go to the CFL than the stupid Texans.
No faith in D'Amico Ryan.
See, that's where Jeremy gets his amusement.
No faith D'Amico Ryan's going to turn this thing into
Oh,
a
no,
winner.
I have full faith in D'Amico Ryan's. I trust gas station sushi more than I trust anybody in that entire front office. I'm going to be honest with you. Watching how the Houston Texans spend their money, I've been low-key keeping my phone on just to see if they're like, hey, 6'5", 245, still got a little pep in your step? I don't. They don't know that. Give the big mullet a 2-year deal. Let's go.
I mean, they did make some waves in yesterday with the extension to Laramie Tunsil, 3 years, $75 million. Ain't that awesome? I'm just not. I just don't understand it. Like, is Laramie Tunsil not a piece they could have got something for by now?
I understand bringing back Laramie Tunsil. I mean, he's still one of the best left tackles in the league, and I do need somebody to protect my young quarterback. What I don't understand is, all right, this is another team. Bill Buttigieg, one of our great listeners, all right, I'm going to give your Patriots a reprieve. This is exactly what I was just talking about. What exactly do you think this does? Well, it's only a 1-year deal, and it's the 3rd year in a row they've done this. At what point do you just go, stop throwing things at a board and seeing what sticks? Because I'll give you a dirty little secret. It's been nothing so far. Mm-hmm. Name me the player that they signed to one of these 1-year deals that you walked away and went, there's a piece for the future. Rex Burkhead.
Marlon Mack.
And then you let Okoronkwo go to the Browns. That was one of the best young players on your team. There's just teams in the NFL that I look at and go, what do y'all do all day? You just sit around doing tequila shots all day? Like, hey, I called Dalton Schultz and offered him $9 million. Was that a bad idea?
That's where the agave shortage came in.
Oh yeah, that's where it is. I mean, because frankly, if I worked for the Houston Texans, I would probably drink myself into an early grave.
Everybody in Houston drinks themselves into an early grave because of their sports franchises.
It's just there's certain teams I'll just never get. My team was one of them for the longest time. And it makes absolutely no tangible sense. Because all right, so this is a bit of a rabbit hole. I apologize. Name's on the door. Give me a little bit of platitude here. Even if this works, all right, so let's say Dalton Schultz has a phenomenal year. Mm-hmm. Sign him for 1 year. Do you not think he's just going to take the first big money offer he gets next year? Which is in a weaker tight end class? Instead, Houston, who has a bounty of picks and could have had one of those tight ends that's, long-term solution. Maybe a solution more than just this year. Maybe that's a good idea. No, let's go Nico Collins and Robert Woods and John Mechie and Dalton Schultz. God, what a dumpster fire franchise that is. I'm sorry if you pull for the Houston Texans. Frankly, if you say it in the chat, that's who I like. I'll send you a digital hug because you need it.
You are in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Not only are they making moves, but over the weekend also Pittsburgh making a move with Isaac Suomalo,
which was a home run deal. By
Absolutely, felt like that was a great signing for Pittsburgh. And you add that on the Patrick Peterson thing, and they haven't had a bad offseason.
No, I think Pittsburgh's had a great offseason.
We just didn't mention them earlier in the winters, and I'm like, maybe that was an error in judgment.
it's so funny to me. My dad had a saying when I was a kid, and I thought it was the stupidest thing that had ever been said to me. And now I feel like every day that I get older, I keep hearing that replay in my head. Winners win and losers lose. Mm-hmm. The Pittsburgh Steelers make a great signing of Isaac Suomalo, who is a good guard. Not great, good. Be one of the best offensive linemen on their team. Be really good in the run game, and that helps Najee Harris. Meanwhile, the Houston Texans are out here just doing car bombs. Like, Dalton Schultz, $10 million. We don't have 10 minutes? Give him 9. It's fine. He'll take it. Ugh.
It is the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. We'll be back to close it out on a Monday next.
This is your time-saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go 240 westbound between Shuns Cove Road and US 1923 exit 3. Future 26 eastbound stop and go between Broadway Street and 240. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound delays between Hendersonville Road and Bavard Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound is slow between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Hendersonville Road on the northbound side is slow approaching Long Shoals Road. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Again, Bavard Road northbound slow between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway near the North Carolina Arboretum. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business needs, from quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Cleaning the inside of your house is easy, but the outside is where most people need a little help. WNC Wash Pros are the highest rated exterior cleaning company in North Carolina with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Whether you need your walkways pressure washed or the outside of the house scrubbed clean, we will kill all organic growth to preserve your paint and extend the life of your roof with our gentle and soft approach. Call us at 828-560-WASH or visit our website at WNCWashPros.com for a free estimate today.
Join us to celebrate the songs and artists you've loved over the past year.
At our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Hosted by Lenny Kravitz.
With Innovator Award recipient Taylor Swift.
And performances by iHeart Icon Award recipient Pink, Coldplay, Kelly Clarkson, LL Cool J, Keith Urban, Pat Benatar, and Neil Giraldo, Lotto, Money Long, Cody Johnson, and more.
Watch on Fox and listen on iHeartRadio.
Next Monday night at 8 p.m.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
And we're back with more breaking news.
You know, one of the things that makes me laugh on a daily basis is every time you hit that stupid button on a comeback, nobody sees it but me.
I don't care. I'm doing the dance anyway.
There's a little graphic that spins, and then you're done dancing.
Okay, let me do it. Here, I'm doing it now.
There's like a dry heave put to music. It's just not good. It's from Ian Rappaport. Titans free agent tight end Austin Hooper is expected to visit the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm telling you, it's going to be the most formidable tight end room since Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah. O.J. Howard and Austin Hooper.
Formidable. Jimmy Garoppolo, MVP. I'm sure you get it at plus 5 jillion.
And how can you look at this and go, yeah, we're good. We're fine. Relegation looks better and better every week. Let's go.
Oh, no, we need
XFL
somebody
champ and the USFL champ. We'll put them both in the NFL next year.
It'd be 116 to nothing. No, we need somebody to make fun of. I feel bad for Raiders fans now, too. Man, you're just throwing it all against the wall and seeing what sticks. And that gets us into how we're going to close out this here program. I feel like tomorrow's a Power Rankings day.
Okay.
Love Power Rankings Tuesday. Going into the draft. Where are we at? Talk about every team. It's going to be a fun time.
Okay, Power Rankings Tuesday. Tomorrow, the pre-NFL draft Power Rankings.
There are a few teams that you're probably going to be a little shocked at where I have them.
That sounds very interesting. Is this like putting in all of the draft capital and stuff into play? Like what?
No, this is just with where the roster.
Okay.
It's just where the roster sits.
Okay.
After free agency. I mean, here's the thing. What else are we going to talk about? The NCAA tournament? Well, the Princeton Tigers play a sweet 2-3 zone it's so much fun.
No, that's for watching. It's not up for discussion, really.
I'm going to be honest with you. CBS could fall off of my television. I don't think I would know until I miss Blue Bloods. That's when I'd know. If you preempt Blue Bloods,
Never even seen that show.
What?
No.
That show's awesome.
Is that about like royalty or something?
No, it's Tom Selleck as a police commissioner, and he's awesome.
Oh, I think I did know that.
And the woman that named Tom Brady's first son, John Edward Thomas Moynihan, is the second star. And I love her, if for nothing else, because of what I just said. Because she is Richard Petty, much like your boy is. So, and I can respect, game respects game, okay?
NFL owners, this came out earlier today, expected to finalize a multi-year contract extension with Roger Goodell. Shocker of shockers.
Who's shocked?
Right. Like anybody thought that relationship was coming to a close at any time soon?
I've always found it funny how many fans don't like Roger Goodell and want him to just be cast asunder, and every owner just loves him.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, we have made $1 bajillion since you took this job.
Has the Shield ever been in better status under a commissioner?
No. And I'll tell you the thing that's always, and I guess it's because I'm watching this happen with Adam Silver the opposite way. I have seen Goodell make some missteps, and he is very quick to go, oh, I shouldn't have done that, and unwind it, and we're moving forward. That's what a good commissioner does.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be around for a long, long time.
Yep. This will be the fourth extension for Roger Goodell since he became the commissioner back in 2006, taking over for Paul Tagliabue. That's a name I hadn't thought about in a long, long time. Yeah, I feel like we're in better hands under Roger Goodell than we were with Paul Tagliabue. It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Join us tomorrow at 3 right here in the Ingles Studio for a Power Rankings Tuesday. Look at all things going into the NFL draft as free agency, well, the sizzle period winds down here on free agency. We will see you tomorrow.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
A little milder for us here as we head through midweek, but quite a bit warmer looking ahead to the end of the business week. Cold again tonight, though, mainly clear skies, temperatures into the mid-20s. Mix of clouds and sunshine for tomorrow. Afternoon highs in the middle to upper 50s with a bit of a south to southeast breeze. Cloudy skies on Wednesday with a stray shower or two possible. Temperatures in the upper 50s. Mix of clouds and sun upper 70s Thursday, Friday. I'm Ken Boone. with the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue, 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound in Haywood County, stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road delays. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
No one has the same taste as you.
You damn right.
From the music you love to the podcasts you can't live without. And only the iHeartRadio app has it all for free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.